Hello, everyone. Welcome to Icewind Dale Corrupted, episode 5. Hope you're all having a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Chris. I will be your Dungeon Master for tonight, and we're thrilled to be streaming at twitch.tv/D&D and twitch.tv/Adventurers Wanted. So, what have you stumbled upon, strange internet viewer? What have you found here? What you've found is 6 people playing Dungeons & Dragons. That is a tabletop role-playing game. The 5 players arrayed around me in this constellation of glory all play individual characters in a shared fantasy setting. They have character sheets, wonderfully provided by D&D Beyond, and those character sheets tell them what they do, what they can do, what they can try, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to be rolling a 20-sided dice, which is one of these. And high numbers are good, low numbers are bad. A 20 is called a critical success, and a natural 1 is a natural 1. It is a critical failure, it is a disaster, and I'm sure to narrate, skeletons shooting George in the back when that happens. That's the way things have gone so far. Grand. And while they play their characters with their character sheets, I play literally everything else. All the monsters they encounter, the pack of owl bears they've meandered into. That's just what I'm going to be handling throughout the course of the day today. Also using D&D Beyond with their lovely encounter builders and initiative trackers and all the rest. We'll come back to that later. Anyway, before we dive in too deep, let's meet all of our players. So, I will go around and ask you all to give your name, your pronouns, your character's name, their pronouns, and maybe give us a sentence or two about what they're up to at the moment, how they're doing, how things have been, how's it going, that sort of thing. Starting with George.
Hello, I am George, and I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Ashra, who uses she, her pronouns. I think I've described Ashra as the necromancer in charge of the Howling Ravine encampment, which has felt less true with time, I feel. She's the senior member of the Arcane Brotherhood in the Icewind Dale on this mysterious mining expedition. Probably even more out of her depth now that we're trekking across the glacier, because wizards are not known for their hardiness or survival skills or any of that. So let's see what happens. Yeah.
Grand. Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm playing Ivy, a human monk. We both use she, her pronouns. Ivy turned up at the Icewind Dale determined to blend in and look after her sister, neither of which are going super well, given that she definitely drew loads of attention to herself by teleporting all over the place. And then to fix that, has dragged her sister across a murderous glacier into a pack of owlbears. So she's doing really, really, really well right now.
Cool. Good. Poe?
Hi, my name is Poe. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm playing Viktor, a Tabaxi cleric who uses he, him pronouns, who has been the kind of residential medic at Camp Hal for a while. And after some adventures with Black Goo, he's now on team please don't eat the black goo and is wondering if he's been abandoned by his deity. So that's what's happening with me.
Yeah, Victor's had a day, that's true. Red?
Hi, I'm Red. I use he, him, and I play Milk, who also uses he, him. Milk is another senior member of the Arcane Brotherhood and is kind of like the X-Files embodied, I guess, in that he's not quite sure what's going on and has all kinds of draw things going on in his face. He's here trying maybe to meet some big alien force living under the earth, or maybe to avoid it altogether. He's not quite sure yet. He's just trying to make sure he looks good while he does it.
And so far achieving. That is definitely canon. Lovely. And Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma. I use she, her pronouns. I'm playing Prosp'rus, who is a half-orc paladin. Prosp'rus is here protecting, anyone who needs protecting pretty much. Prosp'rus thought it was a great idea to come onto this glacier, and as far as Prosp'rus is concerned, it's not going too poorly, but, see how everyone else feels about that.
Your gung-ho attitude will be punished.
And it's mostly regretting letting everyone eat the goo because, that's gone poorly. But, we're going to fix it. It'll be fine.
If any of that feels like, I'm coming into this story a bit cold, there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on. We are in the 5th episode of the show. If you'd like to catch up on what's happened so far, you can head to youtube.com/adventurerswanted, where all of our content is arrayed and you can catch up on things. Or join us for now, see how you do, and then catch up later. Always fine, whatever's best for you. Anyway, couple of AOB before we kick off. The show should run for approximately 3 hours with a break somewhere near the middle. It's all improvised, so we'll have to fit that in as and when we can. We're thrilled to be sponsored by two wonderful sponsors, D&D Beyond, who I've already mentioned a few times and will now continue to mention because they're excellent. D&D Beyond offer a digital rules compendium for Dungeons & Dragons, which includes a variety of lovely online tools. You've got Dice Roller, you've got character generators, which take the sometimes arcane process of making a Dungeons & Dragons character and make it supremely easy. For DMs, you've got a rules compendium, you've got all of the adventures, all of the rule books, everything in one handy place, which means you can search for rules when you forget them, which of course I never do. So that is very, very useful. And I'm also using their encounter builder and initiative tracker, which again are two parts of the game that can be quite complex. And the rules, the things they have provided make incredibly simple. So do check them out at dndbeyond.link/adventurers wanted to show your support for them and for us by clicking on that particular link. So if you have the ability to do that, please do. We're also sponsored by Ultra Pro, where D&D Beyond is everything online. Ultra Pro is everything offline. They provide a variety of wonderful different things for your tabletop. Dice, which we're using today. Those of us that are using physical dice, George uses the D&D Beyond dice roller, which appears to have cursed him. So that is part of the problem.
Went well.
So yes, they have digital dice, they have dice boxes, dice bags, the whole gamut. Head to ultrapro.com to see a selection of their wares, including this little schnuff. Oh my god, this little schnuff. This is a little owlbear friend. And I thought it quite fitting, since the party are currently dealing with a bunch of murderous owlbears, that we should give a cutesy little one away today. So, we have one of these, completely packaged. Don't worry, it's not this one I'm manhandling. We have them all boxed, and we'll send one to you, all COVID-free. So, if you can just join us in the Twitch chat today, just say a few things, say hello, it doesn't matter what you say. The moment you are in the Twitch chat, you are joined in with a chance to win, although you must hold a UK address. Lovely. That's the sponsor chat. Finally, we play with a diverse set of players who play a diverse set of characters. Our tables are transpositive, and we both encourage and champion trans players and DMs, in our games. We have a policy on misgendering, which we look out for, and if there's any instance that we miss, do let us know, but you should see us being very careful with gender terminology around our games as part of what we do. Please also note that the DM and players may portray characters that are of a different gender to their own, for obvious reasons. Otherwise, we have safety tools that we use as part of our streams. You may see players using these. This is a pause card. As you can see, it has pause written on it. There they are. Thank you, my loves. Pause cards are a very good way to keep your games safe. We have more information about how pause cards can function in your games. There should be a link in your Twitch chat. You can take a look there at the things we recommend in terms of safety tools. We also use some verbal safety tools, such as lines and veils, which you may hear as part of in-game today. This is not only to make sure that we are safe and our players are safe, but also to encourage people watching to use safety tools in their own games, especially online, when it can be harder to check in person. Anyway, I think that's basically it from me. Everyone good to go?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good. Then let's dive straight back into Icewind Dale Corrupted. And we're back. Hello, everyone. So, let's settle back in. We used to be with the party in Camp Howell, the encampment of the Arcane Brotherhood in the Reghead Glacier, miles away from civilization, digging beneath the ice for ancient buried Netherese cities. But we've moved away from there. The party have decided to step away from their encampment after some strange black ooze found beneath the surface has sent some temperatures a bit higher than they should be. So they are now heading out onto the glacier. They are trying to traverse the space with a bunch of allies who I'm controlling all of at the same time during massive combat encounters. It's fine. And they are trying to make their way to one of the sacred places of one of the local tribes that live on the glacier, the Reghead Nomads, one of which is in your party. And in that space, you're hoping to find answers, as these tribe appear to know a bit more about this black ooze, and maybe even be able to help the camp with their current predicament. However, at this point in time, we join mid-combat.
Boom.
At this point in time, the party are currently facing 6 owlbears, a small pack of owlbears that, snowy owlbears, if you will, that were having a drink in a local stream. Streams on top of a glacier are a bit odd, but there is running water on top of. What did you say?
Pub.
Yeah, in the pub. Yeah, it's a pub brawl. Everyone's back in the pub now, and we're all having pub brawls. That's what's happening.
We don't serve your kind here.
But yes, these owlbears are drinking from a small rivulet of water on top of the glacier that hasn't frozen over due to the running water nature of it. And you happened upon them, and they have now happened upon you. Quite a few of you are in direct melee combat with them. Prosp'rus, Viktor, some of your allies are up at the front line, hammering away. Meanwhile, at the back, Milk, Ashra... Ivy's at the front as well, sorry. Milk and Ashra are much further back and holding their own, as wizards and warlocks are wont. And some of your allies are also involved in the fighting. So let's dive back in at the top of initiative. Ivy.
Is it me?
It
oh,
is.
look, I'm at the top of initiative.
Yes,
That's
you are.
unusual.
Monks.
Right.
Ivy, you are in direct combat with a single owlbear who you have thrashed quite significantly and is looking relatively bruised and battered. It's you and this owlbear one-on-one at the moment, although there are 5 others engaged with your allies pretty close to you. What would you like to do?
I think, from what I remember, no one was looking like they were in desperate need of assistance right now.
No,
were
not
they?
at this point, no.
So I think I would like to carry on with this one
Please
so
do.
that I don't get an attack of opportunity.
Fine.
So start with the usual, hit it twice.
Mhm. How are you? Because you're boxing a bear with an owl face right
Yeah,
now.
I'm
How's
boxing
that
a bear
working?
with an owl face.
How's that working? Because you're more of a sort of, your boxing tends to be quite clean and precise, but it's a big old bear. Like, these are large creatures.
I feel like it's a lot of footwork. There's a lot of darting in and out of the big clawy, talony things.
Cool.
So
Okay. Yeah.
lots of jumping around.
Sounds fantastic. I can visualize that. Roll me some attack rolls. See how it goes.
They weren't super great on the dice, but I have so that is a 19 and a 17 to
Both
hit.
hit, yes. As you circle around, dodging and weaving away from this owlbear, you occasionally sort of lean in and get a cut in. Is it like an uppercut under the chin, maybe?
Yeah, I
Or more-
reckon a left and a right.
Yeah, more roundhouse into the body mass, trying to sort of wield it down a little bit. And your punches are quite strong, so you are managing to whittle it down.
That's 2 6s on the dice. So that
Nice.
is 22.
Wow. The first punch into the sort of body of the owlbear, you can feel as you hit in that you are definitely impacting some bone. You're pushing through quite hard through the quite thick muscle and fur around this creature, because it lives on a glacier. It's used to the cold. But as you punch in quite hard, you can feel like your knuckles graze bone. The punch is so hard and so deep. And you can feel it sort of convulse almost and almost collapse a little bit, as you probably managed to get some impact on an organ inside it. And as it convulses, you lean in and give it the uppercut to almost the chin area. And it is sort of cracked around. There's a faint sort of cracking noise of the neck as you properly rotate its head. It is looking absolutely terrible, but is not downed yet.
I really like the image that Ivy tries to spin its neck, but it's an owl, so it just keeps going.
Oh no! Oh, what have I done?
Did you say it's looking like really poorly?
Really, really poorly. Yes.
Then I won't waste a key point. I'm just going to take one more unarmed strike,
Sure.
and that is 21
Yeah,
to
that
hit.
hits. Yeah, and you're probably going to take it out. So tell me how you'd like to use a punch to defeat a bear.
I don't know how much colour I can have. If I have just swung round its head, holding on to its head, can I just, if I'm holding on, punch up and try and snap its neck completely back?
Oh, yeah, of course you can. What damage did you roll?
I rolled, I don't know if I did. I rolled a 2 plus 5, so 7.
Yeah, it's enough. As you spin around and twist its neck back, and then it's an odd gearing for a punch going up from underneath, but you manage to punch up, and you definitely feel, as you're now swung around it and have some contact with it, you definitely feel its neck give. You have absolutely killed this creature as you hit its neck, and it collapses to the ground, out for the count. You still have movement. You've used your bonus action for the third attack, so you still have movement. Prosp'rus is currently engaged. Prosp'rus and Kenna, Prosp'rus' partner, are currently engaged with 2 owlbears that look terrible. They have been scythed with a lot of glowing energy around the scythe hits.
That'll be fine.
The other 3 are currently engaged with Viktor and with Viktor's friend Cyrus, a quite doughty little dwarf who doesn't look that badly hurt yet. But Viktor's taken a hit. Yes, Cyrus has also taken a hit. There's also a big glowing single-bladed sword that Viktor has summoned, which is also chopping into one of them. So if you're looking for that.
Cool. I will head over and attack the one looking least hurt that is hurting Cyrus and Viktor.
Okay, so you're going to move up and square up to the one looking least badly hurt there, but you've run out of attacks. That's the end of your turn. Lovely. So you're dealing with that one. Lovely. Ashra, from ahead, you can see that Ivy has felled one of the owlbears. Even though it's only barely 30 feet away from you, this encounter that's happening in front of you, the blizzard is already making it quite hard to see. You're not quite at the range of disadvantage on seeing things, but you can tell that this is not... You can start to get a sense of what fighting on this glacier might be like in terms of long-range spells.
Yeah, I'm pleased Prosp'rus has glowing scythe right there. The owlbears have been attacking with beak and claw.
Beak and claw.
Correct. Okay, and there are 5 left.
There are 5 left.
Could I encompass all of them, or how many could I encompass in a 40-foot effective slow, where I can it's a 40-foot cube, and I can choose the creatures it affects.
Oh, if you can choose creatures it affects, I will say 40-foot cube is 8, 5. Yeah, it's a big space, isn't it? Is it a 40-foot cube or a 20-foot cube?
It's a 40-foot cube.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you upcasting it?
No, just third level spell, 40-foot cube.
Lovely. Then I'll
up
say
to 6 creatures.
Then I'll say you can catch all of them because it's a big
Grand.
space, and I think you can probably do a sort of chonk, hit all of them in one go. That's fine. What kind of saving throw am I rolling for them?
It is a wisdom saving throw.
Cool. There are 5 of them left, so I will roll them all individually. Where's the plus one? So an 18.
Passes.
An 11.
Fails.
A 7.
Fails.
An 18.
Passes.
A 17.
Oh, that just passes, yeah.
Is that 5 or is that 4?
That was 5. So that was 3
5.
successes and 2 fails.
3 successes and 2 failures. Lovely. 2 of them start to slow down. One of the ones that you and Kenna are dealing with, Prosp'rus, is suddenly like you can see the slow. You can't see the spell being cast, but you see the effect.
You probably pick up a green, or like a sort of dark green aura that's kind of just bleeding energy away a little bit, like into getting whipped up in the blizzard. At the
It's
same
also
time,
it's also a very strange effect with slow because the creature genuinely slows down, and you can see it's still doing all the same moves it was, but at half the pace, and almost like the wind around it ruffles its feathers slowly. Like it is a very strange effect. So one of the ones, I think probably the one that Ivy's just moved up to, starts to slow down with this strange bleeding green effect, and one of the 2 that you and Kenna are currently dealing with also is slowed.
Cool.
Lovely. Any movement or a bonus action, George?
I'm just going to stay put, and the skeletons already have their orders, so I'm done.
And your skeletons are going to protect us.
They are protecting themselves and anyone close, so just yeah.
Right. Lovely. Aspen, who is with you, Ivy's younger sister, sees you casting the spells and sees one go down and shouts a sort of roar of approval over to Ivy as she fells one of the owlbears and is still itching to enter combat. And I will roll to see how she feels about this. You rolled a 16 on your persuasion check for her not to enter combat last time, didn't you?
Yes.
I thought it was an online 20, but
I can't remember.
I remember it being good, but not. I don't think it was nat 20. It wasn't super spectacular. But...
So, like,
can roll again?
Aspen, no, you're in the middle of things. Aspen's character holding back is tough for her. I think now that it looks like things are calming down, she is going to run in as well and is going to join the fight with the 2 that are currently Kenna and Prosp'rus are dealing with. George, talk about the effects of slow.
-2 to AC and dexterity saves. Can't use reactions. You can either use an action or a bonus action, not both, on its turn, and it can only ever make 1 attack on each of its turns.
Nasty. Well,
and spells go weird, but I assume they're not going to be casting spells.
Owlbears can't cast spells. There's a sadness in me that owlbears can't cast spells, but they can't. Yes, Kenna will run up and try and attack the owlbear that is slowed, that Prosp'rus and Aspen will run up and try and attack the owlbear that is slowed, that is menacing Kenna and Prosp'rus. So, Aspen's attack roll is not bad. 6. So she runs in and sort of tries to do what Ivy is doing and tries to punch the owlbear, but doesn't have as much experience, doesn't have as much nous, and just like punches in and just impacts the owlbear, but doesn't do any damage. But she's sort of laughing. She's enjoying herself. You and Prosp'rus and Kenna, you can see that she is like excited to be helping, excited to be joining in, even though she's not
so
actually done.
Can I just turn around and be like, get behind me?
I'm fine. It's fine.
Get behind me.
Rock, do you want to roll me a persuasion check? It's out of combat.
Fuck's sake.
You took NPCs with you.
It's a 26.
Wow. Okay.
Yes!
Aspen is going to quite meekly step behind you and Kenneth. The owlbear doesn't get reactions, yes, George? So
Correct.
it can't attack of opportunity. That is fine. She steps back and out of range. Milk.
Hi.
Hello.
Is it possible to discern which ones are most in need of a hounding? These owlbears, or
As
are
in-
they all similarly?
Which ones are the worst? Which ones are the worst of? Which ones are the best of?
Yes.
The one on Viktor and the one that Ivy has just squared up to look the heartiest. The other three look in relatively poor condition.
Okay, I'm gonna take a pop at one of the other three in that case, with both fingers.
Which one?
I'm gonna take. How can I discern between them?
There's two that Prosp'rus and Kenna and now Aspen are dealing with that look very badly hurt, and there is one that Cyrus has been hacking into as well.
I'll take the one near Cyrus. in that
Okay,
case,
go for it.
because The others probably have it handled. That is 27 and a 10.
The 10 does not hit, the 27 does. So one Eldritch Blast goes wide, the first impacts.
Right. That would be a 9.
9 points of damage. The air around it slightly rent, slightly curved, but it's not felled. It's just taking more damage, and it is still looking quite badly hurt. Do you want a bonus action or movement?
No, I'm just going to pat Ashra on the back because I was impressed by Slow. And well done. Knew you'd shape up.
Play it cool. Actually, no, with that, I just turn and give you a look. You know the one.
Right. Prosp'rus, the two owlbears that you and Kenna are fighting, Aspen has stepped behind you, so they're not going to attack Aspen. So, George, one of them only gets one attack. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. It is going to try and bite. You're such a big target, but you're also covered in metal. I think it might go for Kenna.
Cross with the owlbear.
I mean, Kenna's wearing some armor. Kenna's wearing chain, and Kenna's got a shield, so Kenna's not unarmored. Just not as armored as you. Okay, the owlbear's going to try and attack Kenna. Nope, it's a 10. So the one that is slow just claws out. Ooh,
And make them more adorable, Chris.
ooh, and misses entirely. The other one with its full flurry is also going to attack Kenna, I think.
Oh, I start squaring up to these owlbears.
They both look pretty badly hurt. 15 doesn't break Kenna's AC, but a 21 does. So the claw slashed out and Kenna catches it on her shield and pushes it away, but the beak comes in over the shield and pokes her in the face for 11 points of damage. Ooh. She's bleeding from the forehead. Lovely. So it's keeping a track of all of these.
Gonna die.
Lovely. Right. The three owlbears. Viktor, the one on you is just going to keep going for you. So the owlbear that's on you is just going to keep attacking you and do the best it can.
Yeah.
18 and a 25.
18 is my AC.
So they both hit, I'm afraid.
Okay, yeah. Sweet. Love that.
That's 2d8, not 2d6. Right, 2d8 and a d10, which gives us 5, 14 plus 10, 24 points of damage.
Yeah.
The owlbear on Viktor is looking like it is managing to, it's almost leaning on top of Viktor and almost standing on top of Viktor at this point and really sort of laying in and trying to claw down. How badly hurt is Viktor looking?
How many points of damage was that again?
24.
Excellent. Quite hurt.
Victor's probably bleeding into the stove quite heavily now, and it looks like Victor's probably having a bit of trouble, put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The owlbears, the one that's on Cyrus, that Cyrus was dealing with, is going to keep attacking him. The other one, seeing Ivy enter the fray, it probably hasn't recognized that you killed one of its pack because it's quite snowy and it's quite busy, but you're a new figure that's darted in and it's worried. So Cyrus gets one attack. That is nowhere near enough. That is a 10. And Ivy, the sort of heartier looking one, is going to go for you as well.
With disadvantage.
2 4s.
Weirdly, they both hit. No.
No, 4, even with their +7 to hit, which is an 11, it still misses. So the other owlbear, seeing you, tries to swipe, and again, the swipes and the claws, you are sort of like strangely there and not there as you move your shadow powers surrounding you once more, and that's the end of the owlbear's turn.
They get
Cyrus,
to make a wisdom save.
for the
two that are sloped, yeah.
thank you. As a 10 and a 16.
16 passes.
Okay, the one that's on you is now no longer slowed.
That's fine. It's going to be dead next turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll do the work.
Cyrus is also going to attack the owlbear in front of him, which he's been making quite decent work of. If anything, Victor, just to reinforce this, Cyrus is quite a seasoned combat veteran and is doing fine.
No, I'll worry about him.
Okay. He's gonna. I'll do his attack spaced out because he might. No, I'm rolling really badly. His second attack is a natural 20. There we go. Right. So the first attack, he swings out and manages to miss the owlbear entirely, and with a sort of slight like jumps in the air, overhand, two-hand, just splits the owlbear's skull straight down the middle. I mean, I'll roll for it, but I'm pretty sure he's killed it. Not killed it. That was a crit, and the total damage was 5.
Wow.
Oh.
It had
So you
10
rolled
hit
two
points.
ones.
Yeah, I
Two
rolled 2
ones.
ones. It had 10 hit points, and I reduced it to 5. He jumps up in the air and like cleaves down with 2 hands, and the axe is stuck in the owlbear's, like right in its head. But he's there, like trying to wrestle the axe out of its head, and it's shaking its head back and forth, and it's a bit of a disaster. That's what it is. It's a bit of a disaster.
Right.
Great, Victor, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
It's only got 5 health points left.
There's one on you that's perfectly fine.
There's that one as well. Would everyone be alright with me just healing myself this round?
Yes.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
Don't
We
die.
can't do it for you.
You can also bonus action spiritual weapon. It's still there.
Your spiritual weapon is still there.
Yeah.
And it was
Third
attacking
level's
the one that
fine.
Cyrus is fighting.
I'm just gonna do cure wounds at 3rd level.
Mm-hmm.
So that is. Sorry, this every time. Maths, love it.
Life cleric maths always takes time.
3d8 plus 3. 1. 2. So it's 15 plus 3, which is 18, plus 2, which is 20, plus another 3, which is 23 points of health, not points of damage.
You heal 23 hit points as you're lying on the ground. I mean, it's not lying on the ground in D&D terms. As you're sort of being mauled by this bear, you just, glowing hand, start healing yourself of damage, and your spiritual weapon is still floating around the owlbear that Cyrus is fighting. Do you want to chop it and try and take it down?
Yeah, for a bonus action, I'd like to chop that bad boy again.
Chop the bad boy again. Go for it.
Sweet. Yes. That's... Sorry. Yep, that is 21 to hit.
Yeah, you hit the owlbear. It has 5 hit points. You kill
I
it.
thought it might. And that is 10 points of damage.
Yeah. As Cyrus tries to pull the axe out of the owlbear's head, the Shamsha just slices down and cuts. Shashka, slices down and cuts deep into the owlbear's back, and it just gurgles and goes to the deck. And Cyrus just plants a foot and pulls the axe out. That owlbear is also.
You're welcome.
I don't think anyone can hear you because it'll be, you're welcome. Over the top of you. Yeah, so, Kenna, who that hit was quite bad for her, so because she's not the heftiest and healthiest of characters, is also going to try and attack one of the owlbears that you two are fighting. I'm rolling so badly. That is a 7 to hit, which it doesn't. So, as you know, she's got that's a 9 to hit, so it still doesn't. She tries to strike out against the owlbear and misses. Prosp'rus. Wow, Emma.
I rolled my dice so hard, I rolled one off the table.
Wow. Paladin power.
Right, that is an 18 and a 28 to hit.
Yeah, do you want to do 1 to each again?
Yes, please.
Sure.
That is, I get to roll both of those. 7, add 6, which is 13 points of damage to the first one.
You slice one down.
And get to roll both of those. 10 and 6, 16 points of damage to the second one.
Yeah, you cut both of the two in front of you down, 2 vicious strikes, and they're both down.
Stand there, like, panting over both of them, turn around to Kenna and go, you okay?
Yeah, fine.
Great, run over and stand.
There are 3 left. One is literally standing over Viktor.
Menacingly.
Oh, my apologies, there are not 3 left. There are 2 left.
Menacingly
one is standing over Viktor, and one
front,
Ivy is dealing with.
Menacingly in front of the one that's over Viktor.
Correct.
And start growling at it.
Nice.
Cool.
Wow.
Roll me an intimidation check.
20, non-natural.
Roar, roar, roar. Looks around. This half-orc paladin is just running straight up with a glowing scythe. Yup. Okay. Ivy, you are currently toe-to-toe with one of the few left standing. What would you like to do?
If I if I leave it to go help Viktor, I get attack of opportunity.
Is this the one that's still slowed?
This is the one that is still slowed.
Ah.
So, no.
Interesting. I have just seen Prosp'rus run up, but no, I'll go give Viktor a hand because he was looking pretty poorly.
Cool.
So I will go whack the...
As you step away from the slowed owlbear that you are currently facing, it tries to swipe at you, but you're gone before it even has a chance to do anything.
That's 11 and an 18 on the dice, so that's 19 and 26 to hit.
Yes,
Solid.
2 hits. Yeah, 2 very solid hits on the owlbear that's currently reared over Viktor.
I would like to try a stunning strike on the
Okay.
owlbear because Victor's looking really bad.
That's a con save.
I'm a bit better now.
Yeah, we're not taking any chances. That is a con save. Let me find my DC. It's been a while.
Is it higher than 9?
It is a 14.
Yeah, it's stunned. As you
Cool.
how do you stun it?
Can I, because I'm sprinting to it, take a running jump and hit it right in between the eyes?
Yeah, of course you can.
Thank you.
Superman punches you, run in, just and go almost through it as you go around, and it falls off Viktor, like rolls to the side, just.
Brilliant.
It's just there, just like one eye is half swollen shut. Just it's clearly, if it could have cartoon stars floating around its head, it would.
And I get to re-roll my second one then, and just in case it's a nat 20.
You do, yes. You have to roll damage on the first as well, but
It wasn't. It was 4.
you already hit it, so it's just with
Did,
advantage.
so it's fine. That is a 6 and a 3, so 19 points of damage.
Yeah, you attack it resolutely, 2 solid hits, and it's now looking worse for wear, but not out yet, as you keep doing body blows alongside it. Bonus action?
I will unarmed strike, bonus action.
Yeah, no problem.
That's 18 to hit.
Yes, absolutely.
Advantage just in case.
Yes.
Nope, it's just higher. 6 on the dice for another 11 points of damage. Ooh,
Yeah,
30 points. That's
Prosp'rus, as you run in snarling, and the owlbear sort of has noticed you, it suddenly turns, gets socked by Ivy, and Ivy's just running and like taken this one down. It looks really, really badly hurt and stunned. Just so you're aware of that.
As Ivy's clearly dealing with this, I turn around so that I'm facing the one that Ivy's just left.
It's technically it's past. The one that's past. You have to run around it, but yes, all good. Aspen, who was behind you and Kenna, sees what Ivy's doing and runs in to help.
As she does,
I
go,
26.
can I go, young lady, you stay where you are.
She's going to run in and attack.
She is going to die because if the owlbear doesn't kill her, I will.
Right, she runs in. She does an attack. Come on. She rolls a 14, which just breaks the creature's AC. So she runs in and just punches. And in the same way that you've been doing, Ivy, you can see... Actually, those of you who haven't seen this before, Ivy's sister looks like she's been trained in similar arts as Ivy has. As Ivy's sister's punch, the first was kind of ineffectual, but this looks surprisingly able and effective. Oh, it's stunned.
Gosh, you really think we'd have had a plan where we made her want to be as inconspicuous as possible?
Yeah, you will, don't you?
I'm going to kill her.
And as she runs in, she punches the one that's down, and then, much like Ivy did, does a resolute, very strong uppercut that cracks its neck. And again, this one is felled and killed. and she just like turns to Ivy with a kind of like yeah, like super excited that she took it out.
She is greeted with this face.
Wow. Right. Milk, it is your turn.
I think we jumped my turn, Chris. Sorry.
Did we? Oh, we did. I'm sorry, George. Go ahead.
That's fine. I just want. I'm going to. I know I've bad form with this in the past, but chromatic orb. I feel this time is the time.
George, you know what happens with chromatic orbs. Are you sure?
You'll
I'm
kill
going
my
to target.
sister.
The only one that's left is the slowed one, so it's got a lower AC than usual.
That is true. That is very, very
I
true.
feel. I would like to say I feel confident.
Oh no, you've done it now. You've said it.
I said
now.
I'd like to say it, but I don't. So yeah. Okay, targeting that one. It's a 15 total. I think that's
It does
good
hit
enough.
it. Yes, it's good enough. It does hit it as you chromatic orb. What kind of flavor of chromatic orb is this?
Probably fire.
Okay.
Yeah, fire. I say probably fire. Fire.
A burning chromatic orb flies out as it impacts.
17 points of damage.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Sure.
The burning sears over it, and it gives a faint sort of. "Arr!" It's definitely fire is not its favorite, and it is burned, and all the rest of its pack have been felled. And it looks quite worried, and it can see now that all of you are. There's lots of dead bodies in the snow, so it's generally quite concerned. Milk.
It feels very nearly dead.
Oh yeah.
I might just try and finish the job then with another couple of blasts
Sure.
of the old eldritch nature.
Yep.
20 something
Yep.
and 14.
Both hit.
Cool. So that's 10 plus 7. 10 plus 12. 22.
22 points of damage as it turns, clearly quite worried, not sure what to do. Is it like doing the sort of wild animal pound where it sort of pounds around a bit, not quite sure what to do? Suddenly, two eldritch blasts hit it in the side, and it starts it coughs and coughs up a bit of a sort of faintly darker blood onto the snow. It's looking very, very badly hurt. It is going to try and run. The only person who is in melee range of it as it turns to run is Cyrus. Everyone else moved up to the other one. So Cyrus is going to try and attack it as it runs. Make attack opportunity. That is a 14 to hit, which definitely hits. Two-handed. 10 points of damage. He cuts it as it goes. As he cuts him back, there's a horrible sort of yelp as it turns and runs, as he cuts quite deep into its side, but it is now running away from you and is running away across the snow. You can see bloodied footprints where it is running, and you can also still see it in the blizzard, but it is definitely making its way away from all of you. It is Cyrus's turn. He's going to look around at everyone and see if everyone's okay. And are we following?
Guess so.
Why?
Sorry?
It was just
Let
yeah.
the
Right.
damn thing go.
Just whacks the axe into the ground, into the snow, pulls it out to keep it clean, and then sheathes it and turns around to check on everyone else. And we're going to walk over to Viktor and slowly start helping you up.
Can I go over to...
You all right?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good. What were you going to do?
Can I go over to Kenna?
Kenna's had not moved up to attack yet, but is sort of kneeled down a little in the snow, and the wound where she was pecked in the face is quite bad. It's bleeding quite
can
profusely.
I touch her forehead? How many hit points did she lose?
She lost 11 hit points. She only has 26 total.
I will lay on hands. 11 hit points.
Cool. She's back to full. The wound is completely healed over. Thanks. Well,
Are they normally here?
oh so, yeah, a lot of wild animals come to this stream. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know how many would be here if it would be a problem, but I thought we might be a little bit sneakier. Looks around the rest of you.
Sorry, it's the plate armor.
Oh, was it you?
I don't know, but it's
Oh, never mind.
usually me. It's plate armor.
She looks a bit sheepish and realizes she was being narky with everyone when she was being narky with you. And it's just sort of like does a little like kick the snow. Not quite sure what to make of it. Everyone can congregate again after this. There are 5 owlbear corpses on the floor. Grand.
I'd like to switch my outfit to an owlbear onesie. I think that's appropriate
Wow.
for the moment. I know, right? Like we need to get those produced, but different story.
Are they edible?
Yeah, they're natural creatures. Do you really want to butcher? And butchering things is quite difficult.
Okay.
I could get started on one, but it would slow us down. We're
I'd
okay.
say the extra food could be useful. We have literally got what we brought and each other. They're quite hefty beasts.
Okay. Does anyone know about butchering animals? Anyone?
What kind of check would that be, Chris?
Survival.
No.
I've cut a few things up in my time. I could help.
I'll try and survive.
Mm-hmm.
I know a little bit. Had to learn a little.
It's not to try a check. It's if you have proficiency in it. Like, have you done this before?
No, I don't.
Anyone have proficiency in survival?
I grew up on a farm, but no.
No.
But I grew up on a farm. Literally grew up in a farming community.
No,
You
I'm very
chose your
glad.
stats, your proficiencies yourself. That is your call which ones you chose. If none of you have proficiency in this, then Kenna is going to get started basically skinning one of the owlbears. It's quite a long-winded process. She's using a couple of daggers on her personage to start cutting off the fur and the pelt. She can't treat it, so she'll have to leave it, but is cutting it and slicing off. You can see the meat on the inside of the owlbear, quite thick, quite blubbery. If anyone's had anything that's like... I don't know if anyone's eaten anything like that before, but it's quite a sort of thick, fatty meat that is being carved off, and the blubbery side of the skin can also be cured. So she's just chopping quickly. It'll take her probably about... I mean, if people want a short rest, it'll probably take that long to do the entire body.
Right.
Sounds fine.
Before Ivy short rests, the first thing she will have done once she's checked no one is hurt is march over to Aspen, grab her by the wrist, and she's going to give her a public telling off because private didn't work, and just go, "You are a stupid, stupid little fool. I know you think you're amazing. Did you see what happened? I told you to stay put. This isn't because I love spoiling your fun. This is so you don't die and you don't get the rest of us killed.
What am I supposed to do here? Just stand at the back and wait?
You ran in. Prosp'rus got distracted by having to keep you safe. Prosp'rus had to look after you, and because of you, Kenna got hurt. Look, did you see her head bleeding? That was you. That was your fault. Your foolishness. You are irresponsible. We all could have died because of you.
No, come on. That is unfair. That's so unfair. I came in to help, and I helped. I took out that one by myself.
Either you're an arrogant or you are even more stupid than I take you for.
Do you want me to just stand at the back? Do you really want me to come all this way and just stand at the back and hopefully nothing happens?
I'm
really?
sorry.
Great.
Do you think that you're here to help? You are here because you cannot be trusted left by yourself. You are here to keep you safer than I think you would be back there. You are not here to help. You are not one of the gang. You are not here for a fun little party where you get to hit things. You are here so I can keep you alive. Are we clear?
She's going to storm off.
Prosp'rus, I am so sorry. Is Kenna okay?
Kenna's fine.
Thank you. And next time, you look after yours, and I can be responsible for her. I'm really sorry. She should not have.
Ivy, we're all
had that happen.
Ivy, if we're going to do this, we all have to look out for each other. It's not going to work otherwise.
Kenna, while cutting on the ground. Yeah, it wasn't her fault, Ivy.
Don't tell her that. She thinks she's invincible, and she needs to learn before she dies.
Can I telepathically just ask the elk to follow Aspen, please?
Of course you can. That's totally fine.
I mean,
storm off, pursued by now.
Ivy will have given it like that conversation and then walk after Aspen because she is furious, but it is a blizzard.
Ivy, it's Kenna. Ivy.
Yes.
She's never going to learn if she doesn't get her hands dirty.
I don't want her to learn. I want her to find somewhere safe, settle down, and have a normal life where she doesn't have to learn how to punch things to death.
Then you've taken her to the wrong place.
Yeah. I was short on options. Sorry, I really appreciate it. It's sort of flying blind, and her throwing herself in front of a load of talons is not really my favourite thing.
If you don't give her a chance to lose something, if you don't give her a chance to get hurt, she'll always believe she's invincible.
She had her chance, and she nearly got really, 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 really hurt, which is why we're here now. I kind of thought she would have learned, but yeah, sorry. Thank you. I will go.
It's okay. I'm not...
Find her.
I don't know about how to look after people. Just, I don't know. maybe cut us some slack.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm much better at the killing people than the caring for them. I should work on that. Yeah, thanks. I'll go.
It's all right.
Tell her that you're fine.
It wasn't her fault.
I know. I panicked. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm going to have used that distraction, that conversation, to follow my elk.
Well, I'm not going to follow you because I'm looking for Aspen.
Okay. Aspen has not stormed off into the blizzard and vanished, just to be clear. Aspen has walked off and is making sure she can still see everyone, but is definitely like on her own sulking. If the elk goes over, she'll just sort of like look at the elk. If you follow Prosp'rus, she'll probably like not move or do anything. If Ivy's following you, she's definitely gonna like not talking to you right now.
Do you want
Not even for an apology?
No, not even for an apology. Jeez. You chew me out in front of everyone. What the fuck was...
You nearly died. You do that a lot.
Nothing touched me.
It could have done.
I have things I can do.
You have like 8 months of training. I have 8 years. And again, not to like throw it in your face because we both know what you did was the right thing, but what you did was demonstrate that the training was not working for you, which, you know, was the right thing, but it means you didn't get turned into a killing machine. This is brilliant. Use that. Don't throw yourself at things. You were learning healing with Viktor. These are all like things you can do that don't make me shout at you because I'm afraid that I'm going to lose you again.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I should not have yelled at you in front of everyone. I'm really, really sorry.
Okay.
I was not angry. I was scared.
Fine, whatever.
I'm going to go back over and have a sit down and give you some space. But I am sorry. It was a really good punch. It was really good. Yeah, it was really good. Were you watching me? Because you did the same. Like it was good.
Yeah, I wanted to show you what I could do.
It was really impressive. I'm so hard on you because I came so close to losing you to the worst thing imaginable that I maybe now want you to sit in a nice fluffy box wrapped in like feathers and stay really safe. And instead I brought you here. So, doing really, really, really well on the big sister front. But the least I can do is keep you at the back behind the tanky people.
Ivy, I don't want to sit in a nice fluffy box.
You should. They're really nice. Apparently. I don't know. It's what I'm trying for. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I get it. You're scared. You're worried. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing, honestly. Like, really, made me feel like...
I'm embarrassed to say that was the plan. I'm glad it worked, but also really ashamed. I'm sorry. Do you remember when we weren't scared all the time because we were instilled with, righteous confidence that we were definitely doing the right thing? It was kind of like awful, but also I do miss that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to try really, really hard not to do that again.
It's okay. I get it.
Please forgive me. And I have a plan. How about we have a bit of a train together every morning and every night? And that way you can show me what you can do and I will freak out less when you chuck yourself in front of a big scary thing.
Okay.
I'm going to go give you some space, but it was a really good punch. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too.
Sorry, I'm crap. And I'll head off.
Just gonna poke the elf. Poke the elk a few times.
I'm leaning nonchalantly on it.
You're leaning on the elk. You are.
Definitely not listening.
That's Prosp'rus. It's fine.
Sorry, not that I was listening to that. I definitely wasn't.
You definitely were. What?
Look, I get wanting adventure. Like, I'm all about adventure. I get wanting to do things and stand at the front. I get it.
I don't want adventure.
What do you want?
I want to use what I know to do the right things, what Ivy's doing. I kind of want to do what Ivy's doing, but, you know, I don't want to hide what I am either, but it's less obvious with me than with her. She trained way more and got into the really dark shit that I didn't get into, so, you know.
I mean, I don't know anything about any of the dark stuff, but
oh shit, yeah. Sorry.
Maybe don't worry, I'm not going to tell anyone. Whatever.
I think people are aware that something's going on. She's not been subtle about it.
Maybe try using what you have to do something different.
I was being trained to hurt things.
Sure. But you can hurt the right things, or you can hurt the wrong things.
Was that not the right thing?
Oh, sure, that was the right thing.
So why is everyone so annoyed? Oh, never mind.
I'm not annoyed with you. All I'm saying is, if you run right up to the front when Ivy's around, she's going to be worried about you. And right now we need her to be not worried about you, but focused on, you know, getting us through this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you stand in front of, you know, Ashra, because she dies really quickly.
Does she?
Yeah, super quickly. And, you know, stop things from getting to her, that would be really useful.
Okay.
Just a thought.
Roll persuasion check.
26.
Yeah, that seems like a really I had no idea that Miss Beckett was so like, what, weedy? Like, is it
Wizards, they just I don't know, they don't train outside ever.
It's not part of wizarding training like some basic like handle yourself stuff?
No, I don't think they ever go running.
Wow. That is
Shade.
Total shade.
I suppose if you can like make dead bodies do what you want to do, why would you ever do anything? Because they can do it for
fair.
you. Yeah,
You could just like sit in a chair that they carry around, so why would you ever need to run?
Why doesn't she do that? That sounds great.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, or you could just learn how to summon an elk.
Yeah. How did you learn to summon elks? This will be a longer conversation. But Kenna and Aspen and Prosp'rus starting to form a little bit of a bond there. Yeah, definitely. And doing so by shitting on Ashra.
Sorry, George.
Thing that unites truly everyone.
We all have, haven't we? We've all noticed. I have feelings.
Victor, are you still hurt in any way?
I mean, I'm a little bit, but I'm doing okay. I was actually going to ask if anyone else would like to be healed first.
Mm-hmm.
I have short rested, thank you.
You can short rest, so you can heal hit dice from short rests if you want to. Because
Does-
Kenna's...
I'll do that, please.
Yeah.
Do I have time to short rest after yelling at Aspen for a while? Is
Yeah,
that
it's fine.
cool?
No, you only have 53 minutes of rest, so you can't short rest. DM.
I have met those DMs.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
If we're about to short rest, could I do a couple of things?
Of course, yeah.
First one would be to do a quick sending.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just gonna send to Colbeck. I get 25, right?
Yeah, 24.
24.
24.
Okay. Hi, love. Excursion currently lame. Very cold. Chance of death increasing. Any news your end? Okay, thanks, love, bye.
It's all fine. Nothing to report. You've only been gone 2 hours. Maybe let's chat later.
The guy realised it had only been 2 hours. If I was a mammoth, how many people could I carry? Or an eagle?
Right.
I feel like they're two different answers.
Yeah.
So, if I was a mammoth, Sorry, it's loading.
Is it faster? I mean, an eagle is faster.
How long would you be a mammoth for?
Oh, it's only like it's an hour. It's not that long. But the eagle's pretty fast. That was why I was thinking about feet. It's like 60 feet flying.
Yeah, eagles are very fast, but also it's a blizzard and you don't know where you're going. Mammoths have a speed of 40 feet, so they're slightly faster. And also this is their terrain. And they are huge creatures, which means that you could probably... I don't think you could carry 10 people. It's not that big, but you could probably carry like 4 or 5. But only for an hour.
Anywhere. Yeah, so it's not really achieving anything. Okay, never mind. I'll just long rest at that point.
Cool. So you're short resting with everyone else.
Could be useful if people start getting knackered.
Yeah, so better save rather than now.
Mm-hmm. As you've all now been out in the blizzard and the ice and the dark. And please note, it has been a couple of hours and you are short resting now as well. You are starting to feel the effects of the extreme cold.
Oh.
Can you all please make me a con saving throw?
Can they do that whilst they're all within 10 feet of me?
Ooh.
Interesting. Arguably, I think for the first roll, people wouldn't necessarily be aware of the fact that this is going to affect them in this way. So it would be very meta-gamey to have them all like stand near
Viktor and
Prosp'rus
I
to make
would be within 10 feet of Prosp'rus most of the time, though. I mean, I'll accept whatever you say, but our whole point is for us two specifically, is to stay within the aura for other reasons.
I think it is fair to say also because you can affect a saving throw, but it's more like a cumulative saving throw. I think we need to make these flat. I think the only way for this to be fair is if they're flat.
Okay.
So everyone make a flat con save, just using your own con modifier.
All right.
16.
Oh no.
Could Kenner at least, because I have been next to Kenner most of the time.
If everyone's making a flat roll, then everyone's making a flat roll.
I rolled a natural 20 plus 8. That's
Ooh,
28.
nice.
What a surprise!
Wow.
Prosp'rus is fine.
Wow.
What's everyone else got?
15.
8.
15, 8, thank you.
16.
16,
13.
13. Cool, everyone above...
The warmest.
Viktor hates the cold. This is established fact, but Viktor absolutely hates the cold. So everyone, you are starting to feel like it's quite cold. It's chilly. You can feel the effects of the cold. It is definitely...
I feel fine. Totally
No,
fine.
it's definitely unpleasant. You don't like it. It's not nice. It's definitely not nice. Viktor, you're starting to feel quite shivery. Like, you're aware that the extreme cold can have effects on everybody, and you're starting to feel it in your bones a little bit as well. You have 1 level of exhaustion. That
No.
means you have disadvantage on all ability checks.
Thanks.
Cyrus is fine. Sorry, I've got to check for all the NPCs now. George, you don't have to roll for your skeletons. They're not affected by this.
Yeah.
The elk is also fine.
Thank
Because
you.
it's not real.
Fake creature.
Oh, Aspen is looking very cold as well. Also has 1 level of exhaustion. And Kenner is from here and therefore is fine automatically. So, Viktor and Aspen are starting to look a little bit cold and are definitely walking slightly more slowly than everyone else and is starting to feel the effects of this weather. You will need to bear that in mind as you move forward.
Can I offer Aspen to ride on the elk,
Of course you can.
who I'm going to call Eloise?
Yes.
Eloise
And I
the
take
elk.
off one of my layers and put it round Aspen.
How many layers are you wearing?
Like 4.
You can if you want your next roll to be at disadvantage for more exhaustion.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. In which case you take off a layer and wrap it around Aspen's shoulders. And Ivy is now underdressed compared to all of you. But you are all starting to feel the effects of the glacier, of the blizzard, as you trudge further. Kenna has...
I check one thing before we move on. It's a sense of, before we physically leave the location. Can I just check the blood spewed up by the owlbear for any signs of contamination? Because the trolls and everything in the camp had some signs of that.
Roll me an investigation check. Or a medicine check. Fine with either.
Investigation, I think, yes. 16.
No sign of that at all. It's quite a dark purplish blood because cold-blooded creatures tend to have darker blood. But it is not cold-blooded, sorry, things that live in the cold tend to have darker blood. But no, there is no sign of anything like the ooze or stuff anywhere.
Grand.
As we are walking, I will just cast Create Bonfire sort of slightly in front of us and then keep moving it forwards. Just so there's a little bit of water.
I think Create Bonfire you either create in your hands or you throw. Is that correct?
No, it's a bonfire on the ground.
Oh, it's on the ground. So you sort of create it.
It's like a 5-foot cube of fire, real fire.
Are you literally creating it on the ground?
Yeah, you create a bonfire on the ground that you can see within range. Until the spell ends, the bonfire fills a 5-foot cube. Blah, 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 blah. Does some damage if I cast it on people, but I'm not affected.
Can you roll me the damage for it, please?
Yeah. 2D. Uh, 13.
You do it once, and as you do it, the glacier beneath you, there's a faint cracking sound, and it's not safe to create fire on a glacier.
Okay, I'll turn it off, obviously, at that point.
Cool.
Don't try this at home.
Kenna is going to guide. Kenna has also skinned and butchered one of these owlbears and has packed, like a ton of meat on the back of presumably Eloise as well.
Yeah, poor Aspen.
No. If anything, the meat's warm. Like it's providing some warmth. Eloise is quite laden down now. Eloise couldn't be ridden into combat or anything like that at this point.
I was not intending to ride Eloise into combat. She has 10 hit points.
Okay. But yes, Eloise is now quite laden down, also moving quite slowly because of all the added weight. But as you all move forward, Kenna's going to guide you up this rivuleted stream. Streams that run through glaciers tend to sort of run literally through it, like sort of create little sort of pockets and dives they can move through, because it's about the running water not freezing. The edges of it will slowly freeze in, but the speed of the water will eventually push everything along, so you can have a stream on top of a glacier. As she guides you all forward, you are stepping sort of alongside this running water, and you do occasionally see some small animals that will dart away as you get close, like very small rabbits and foxes often that will move away as you get close. Being near this stream is clearly quite a dangerous thing to be near because it attracts animals that need running water, but it appears that this is the only way to really track where you're going on the glacier, despite the slight increase in the danger of that. Kenna is still guiding you via this, and you're moving further and further. Those of you that have any good sense of direction, I think you have keen mind, don't you, George? Yeah. You are moving in a north by northwesterly fashion, so you are moving into the cold, up into the glacier and away.
Just to be clear, Chris, Eloise has a speed of 50 feet, so even if she's going slightly slower, she's still faster than all of us.
This isn't about in-game speed. She has a speed of 50 feet if she is sort of moving at pace. Yeah. She's not moving at pace. None of you are moving at pace. You are all moving a bit more slowly than that because you're walking through snow. Eloise just is laden down.
Yeah.
So you are all moving forward, following this rivuleted ice stream. There are points where it cuts beneath the glacier and then almost like springs out again because you are moving up the glacier. And it's actually, when you do get to see it, quite pretty. There's lots of small ice almost sculptures, stalagmites and stalactites arguably, forming along the edges and quite sort of thin, almost filigree crystalline forms. There's not much light to see by. The aurora borealis in the sky is constant, but the small amount that you do get, it's actually, you can see the beauty of this landscape. Despite the harshness and despite the aggressive cold, it is still lovely and a nice place to be. I've just rolled a couple of times to see about any random encounters, and you haven't got any. So you are all moving up this rivulet of stream, and you can recognize that you've been traveling for nigh on 6 to 8 hours in total throughout today, including your first bit, as you start getting further along, and you will probably start feeling the exhaustion of this day. You could travel further, but you'd be risking further exhaustion checks. It's up to you what you want to do. You could probably talk about this if you want to. Victor's already looking quite frostbitey. There's probably like ice forming in the fur, around the face, around the whiskers as well, and yeah.
Kenna, is there a good place to rest or?
Not really. We're going to have to rest out. I've got a tent. I'm sure other people have tents. We're going to have to keep watches. It's going to be difficult. Part of the problem is how you overnight on top of the glacier.
How loudly are you having this conversation?
I think it's fair to say you'd all be involved in this conversation.
I have a magical means of shelter that is quite versatile. I think it will suit the conditions quite well. It's
Does that
still
mean-
perhaps best. Go ahead.
So does that mean it'll be warmer than a tent?
Significantly.
I'm in.
Yeah, that sounds excellent.
If you
It's
have
still
the-
best if it's away from the visible part of the route if this is traveled a lot, but I assume that it is not.
a lot is a strong term. Like my people would be here, and some other tribes do travel this way as well. But in weather like this, we tend to bunker down. I don't think there'll be many people doing this. It's too dangerous. Some animals, maybe.
Then that should be fine. A good spot is better, but we can camp wherever is practical. It needs a small amount of space.
If we have the ability to travel, if we have the ability to camp wherever we want and to do so safely in a way that doesn't require us resting, we could push further. Depends how everyone's feeling.
Look around at the group.
How much further, Kenna?
Well, I mean, it's going to take us days to get to the springs. It's going to take a long time. The longer we're out here, the more dangerous it is, but the further we travel, the more tiring it will be. So if you want to risk tiring ourselves out, but we can have, if what you're talking about, Miss Beckett, is going to be safe and completely safe for a full rest for everybody, then we are going to be able to achieve this better.
I think if everyone stays near me, they might not be quite as tired. I don't know. I don't know if it's work over long periods of time.
It wouldn't, because it's a roll over time. You can't if not, so someone sits 5 minutes in your range. They
I know it's one of my keystone class abilities though. So
exhaustion
yeah.
is a tricky one with that sort of thing because it's over time.
Yeah.
How are you holding up, Victor? How are you feeling?
Oh, I've been better, but we can keep going. We shouldn't stop in my account.
Little nip? Should we have a little nip? Go on for a little bit?
Should we try for a few more hours?
Yeah.
How's Aspen looking?
Aspen's bundled up on top of the elk and just shivering. And if everyone wants, we should go as fast as we can. It's important.
Another hour?
Okay. Let's keep going and see how we do. You all continue to
press
move
on.
forward. Can everyone please make me another con saving?
Disadvantage.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, natural 20 and a 7.
Am I also at disadvantage?
You are not at disadvantage. Ivy took her coat off like a fool.
Well, I threw away my nat 20, but I still have a dirty 20, so it's okay.
Nice.
No, I don't. A nat 19.
Mine's a
Oh,
14.
word, just a 19.
Unbelievable. Ivy took her coat off and is still fine. Victor, that's 5.
Rolled a 17 and a 20, I'm sorry.
There's Miss
3
Beckett.
for Miss Beckett. There it is. Milk.
Yep.
Cold
21
club.
for milk.
21 for milk. You rolled a 14?
14.
Yeah. Let me just check for the NPCs. Hang on. Aspen rolls with advantage. A 19 and a 20. Yeah, Aspen's fine. Aspen actually starts to perk up a bit. It feels like getting into the spring, like seeing that you're fine and not wearing as much as she is, G's her up a bit. She actually gets off Eloise and starts walking with you and is like clearly a bit more animate now and actually sort of, she's still exhausted. There's no question that the exhaustion's still there, but she's feeling quite perked up. Cyrus is starting to show exhaustion, and I start rolling for Kenna, and Kenna starts getting a bit exhausted as well. So as you're all moving forward another hour, you can see that people are starting to slow and starting to tire. However, you've now moved further up into the glacier. And this part of the glacier is slightly different from what you had before. The snowfall is still thick and the rivulet of water is still the trail that you are following effectively. But up ahead of you is the beginnings of a series of further ravines, a bit like the one where your encampment is. It would give you more shelter, but you don't necessarily need that, so it's fine. But also these ravines dig into the ice and dig through the ice, and there's these sort of quite lovely, sort of almost arches of ice flowing over various bits underneath. You can also see that the water, it flows quite rapidly around here, and there's almost a stream now with various offshoots going under the ice. So you've entered a slightly different part of the terrain. But looking around, Kenna looks at Prosp'rus and goes, okay, I'm starting to lose my wind here. How's everyone else doing?
Ready for a sit down.
Victor, you've now got 2 levels of exhaustion, so you are now, your speed is also halved. So you
Well,
are
I mean,
at,
if Aspen's got off Eloise, we can get Victor onto Eloise.
Victor's now disadvantaged on all ability checks, and Victor's speed is
I mean,
halved.
I think
so...
I think we should rest, but in the meantime,
Yeah.
we get Victor onto Eloise.
Okay. So as you move forward a bit, it's clear that everyone's really struggling, including Kenna. So
Let's find a good place to stop, and then let's stop for the night.
The ravine, out of the wind, a little bit warmer.
What are the chances that something's going to come from up inside these tunnels and eat us?
Well, there are creatures that live on the ice, there are creatures that live underneath the ice, and we've encountered some trolls and some toads and things. There's running water. Things tend to live around running water for obvious reasons as well. We can scout out an area, try and see if it looks safe, and that's probably the best bet.
I'm not feeling too tired. I'll go scout. Kenna, what should I be looking out for?
Tracks in the snow. It's snowing pretty heavily, but if they're light enough to leave tracks and the snow can cover it that quickly, then we shouldn't worry about them anyway. Any signs of life, basically. If you're okay to do it, I'm starting to feel it as well. She sits down.
I'm okay.
Cool. So Ivy's going to go and scout, and we're going to go with Ivy.
I'll need you back in about 10 minutes to get the shelter up. You need to be inside when it starts. You'll be able to come and go afterwards, but you need to be inside.
Don't I need to find the place where you're making the shelter? I think.
Yeah, misunderstood.
So I only have disadvantage on ability checks. I just feel tired. I'm going to go with Ivy because one person alone shouldn't.
Hang on, did you fail the last?
I don't know. I rolled a 14. You didn't say.
Oh no, it's 10 and below. No, you're fine.
Oh, fine. Yeah, no, I'll go with Ivy.
Yeah. So
right.
just Victor, who's down to 2 fails. Everyone.
Does Melinaway take these tests?
No, she does not.
Then I'll send Melinaway with Ivy.
In the same way that Melinoe and the elk also don't make... They're magical creatures. They don't get exhausted. So Melinoe is going to go with you as well, which is slightly creepy and weird.
Don't mind her. If there's anything you need to say to any of us, just say it to her and it'll come right through. It's brilliant. You're going to love it.
Melinoe is going to float over and try and settle on Ivy's shoulder. Sees the reaction. Tries to settle on Prosp'rus' shoulder.
Fine.
She's quite cold to the touch.
What's new?
I feel like that was Rebecca's reaction. Prosp'rus says, "Welcome."
Yeah, you've got a wet squid on your shoulder.
Great.
And the two
Lucky
of you can
you.
go and scout out as everyone else starts sort of waiting here and settling in. Prosp'rus, Ivy, as you move down into this ravine, unlike the Howling Ravine, which has very sharp, steep, angular sides, this is a very open space with lots of ice bridges over the top. And this stream of water cuts through at various points. It's not like a sort of singular ravine. It's a series of them all interconnected. Do you want to start scouting out the area? Tell me what you're looking for.
Did Ashra say what she wanted us to look for?
Hannah said no tracks. And I guess a flat bit of ground.
Cool. Let's go.
It's
have
magic,
a look.
right? It just does stuff.
How big does she need? Did she say?
No, that would just be helpful information, and Miss Beckett doesn't give us that. So,
Wow.
yeah, let's just find somewhere flat and vaguely hidden. Oh, she said somewhere that wasn't massively on the path, if possible.
How far away are they at this point?
They've already walked 10 feet away, 15
Oh,
feet
hang
away.
on. We can talk into the squid. Ask the squid.
Use the squid phone.
He
I'll
must,
just relay that.
he must have heard.
So I'll just Miss Beckett. They're keen for a little specificity about where you'd like to set up camp. Any instructions?
A 20-foot area. Ideally, we'll need a little more space around it to potentially stash some of the supplies where they can be hidden, because we can't necessarily secure everything inside, but reasonably flat. But it's really not fussy. It's more about the situation of the ground rather than the ground itself.
I will repeat that verbatim, and so will Melinaway.
Clear as mud. Okay.
Milk's voice does sort of ring out of Melinoe. Like it's a very odd thing.
Oh no, dislike. Well, I suppose that's helpful.
Yeah. Let's not get used to that. That is weird, right?
Yeah, that's really weird.
Cool.
Let's go look for that then. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Can you both roll me? Let's see. Let's have a perception check first to have a sort of a general look around.
Can we assist each other rather than both rolling?
Yeah, of course you can.
What's your perception?
3.
Mine too. You roll.
Great. Thank goodness, because one was a 2 and one was a 16. So 19.
19. As you look down into this sort of almost like gully underneath, and it's sort of underneath the ice with some open patches, you can see that the water does swirl around a lot of places, and there are quite a lot of spaces where water has clearly been and frozen over. it's all ice, so it's all that, but like recently. Looking through it, there isn't much dirt or rock or stone around here. It is mostly ice. So trying to find somewhere that looks secure or safe is a little bit difficult. However, with a 19, as you peer down into the gully, you can see that some of these tunnels are clearly not something water has run through any time recently. You can definitely scout your way down, look around, and find even inside a tunnel that looks like it's not going to be something where water's going to come rushing through and wash you all away or something like that. Can you now roll me a survival check? Again, you can give them an advantage.
+0 for me, so if you've got better...
+0 for me! No, +3! No, I have +3.
You're a monk.
Great.
Yeah. It's all wisdom for you. It's no wisdom for paladins.
Natural 20.
Yeah.
Looking around this tunnel that you have found... Ivy, you stoop quite low and have a look for footprints and that sort of thing. You can't see anything as you look closely, but looking up into this tunnel, you can see some signs of life. Some of the walls have been scratched or scarred, what look like hands or talons. It does look like this area, there are creatures that do live here. And with a natural 20, I will say you recognise some of the signs of trolls, of ice trolls. Things you have encountered
Prosp'rus
before.
is leaning against a wall where there's clearly a scratch mark going like, all looks fine, I can't see anything.
Oh, Prosp'rus, your hand, just there. You see that big troll claw mark? And then that one, and that one, and that one, and that one.
It's just a divot in the rock.
See how they're kind of in the shape of... I reckon maybe we go find another one. I think we might end up as breakfast.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I would quite like breakfast, but
to be eating, not eaten.
Yeah.
Bacon, not people bacon.
Bacon.
People bacon.
Moving.
You're welcome.
I'm not going to... Apparently people make remarkably good bacon.
Why?
Doesn't matter.
You said you weren't going to.
Why?
I don't know. As you move through these tunnels, you see that there's a few tunnels with some of these demarcations. They look old. They don't look recent. But you can find some of them as you move into them and start scouting around a bit that don't have the same signs of life in the same way. If anything, quite a few of these look less recently used and if anything, look more abandoned. So you can find some that look safer.
I think when we're on a glacier in the middle of eternal night and an eternal hailstorm looking for, poisoned goo, then safer is as good as we're going to get.
Agreed.
This seems pretty good. Do you want to go up and fetch everyone and I'll stay down here? And...
You're right. Do you want to keep the squid and then you can call if a troll comes out and jumps you?
Or you could just tell the squid.
I mean, troll sounds like fun. I could have fun down here while you're fetching everyone.
Okay, if you're dying, tell the squid, and otherwise we'll see you surrounded by troll corpses in about 10 minutes.
Cool.
Cool. Ivy, you can very easily head back and find everyone and take everyone down. You are sort of moving across. There are some patches of ice that crack a little underfoot and it's a little unnerving in places because in some cases there is running water underneath. But you, with a high perception roll and a high survival check, you did find a safe space.
I'm standing there ready, just in case...
Nothing's going to attack you. You rolled high checks.
Just still ready.
It's nice to know that if we'd rolled lower, we would have fallen through the ice and been eaten by a troll. It's good to know.
Correct. So good. You go back up and Ivy, you go and fetch everyone. Everyone is taken along to where Prosp'rus is currently standing in this sort of... It's not quite a tunnel. It's more of sort of an overhang, or made of ice, obviously, where you can settle. And
It seems perfect.
Asher, you
Can I
start.
point out the troll scratches to everyone and be like, I think these are from a while ago, but just be aware. Don't sing incredibly loudly wandering through the tunnels.
I just didn't see anything while you were all away. If I had...
Yeah, Prosp'rus, what happened to the troll corpses? I was looking forward to counting them.
Nothing came.
Kenna has moved over to some of the markings on the wall a bit further and is just looking at them slightly pensively. Doesn't say anything. Asher, are you starting to cast...
Can I roll an insight check on Kenna being pensive?
Asher, are you starting to cast Lehman's tiny hut?
I will describe such in just a second. Yeah.
I rolled a 22.
Kenna looks a bit worried.
I will wander over to Kenna while Asher is doing her thing.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to describe your casting?
Cool. Yeah, so it's probably the first time most of you have seen the skeletons help me with the spell casting. So one of the, I pull out my spell book, which looks like a ledger, and you can see the inside. It's very, very neat, and there's lots of tables which probably don't need to be there, but
Hate it.
and one of the skeletons holds the book up for me to read for a start.
You have a skeleton podium. You have a skeleton being a podium.
I mean, they're being helpful.
What posture do you? Is it? You know, like...
No, it's very much like the forearms that are bent forward. I guess they could hold. They don't get tired in the same ways. They could just hold it in what for a living person would be quite awkward to hold for a regular time. So that's one of them. Another one I set out with one of I think it's just called a compass, like the old style one with a slack line and a point that you sort of work around just to form the area of the spell. One of them starts clearing the ground of any debris and getting it relatively flat. And then I will give some direction. We could load as much of the gear as possible over on this side. I don't think we'll be able to encompass it in the area, but we want to make sure that it's protected and hidden as far as possible.
What about the elk? I just yell over my shoulder.
The elk will have to stay outside, as will my associates. Gesturing at skeletons.
Oh.
Right. So.
And gradually
Ashra,
we'll weave together this dome of I'll mirror it because I can set the color. I'll make it as close as possible to the coloring of the rock walls.
It's not rock, it's ice. So it's sort of a blue,
sure, ice walls, yeah.
A whitey bluey tinge, but you can make it look like it's contiguous if you want to. That's perfectly fine.
I mean, blending it as best as possible. It's just having something that from a distance will pause the same as ice.
Yeah, so you start that process, takes about 10 minutes. You need everyone to enter at a certain point so it works.
Yeah, by the end, I'll call for them when it comes. Yeah.
Milk, you wanted to see if you saw Prosp'rus going over to talk to Kenna? Yeah, you see Prosp'rus going over to talk to Kenna, yeah.
Did I see that? I was looking at Kenna's face, otherwise they just...
Oh, sure. Roll me an insight check.
+5, 16.
Kenna looks a bit concerned.
Okay, I'll just sidle over. I know that these two have a thing, right? So I don't want to, I'll just judge that tonally. But just, hi, and see if they, close off or if they don't mind me standing near them.
Kenna's looking pensively. Well, Prosp'rus, you sidle over and you realise Milk's quite nearby. It's up to you.
I ignore Milk. I put my hand on Kenna's waist. And, are you okay?
Yeah.
You don't sound okay.
Sorry, it's just I've not been here in a while. These tunnels used to have more signs of my people. This is one of the places that we stay, and there's nothing here, and there's troll markings.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Trolls can't stop my people. I'm sure they're fine. It's just I was kind of hoping for a sign of life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will just put up the hood of my owlbear onesie and sidle away. This not being the conversation I was looking for. Leads them to their moment.
Cool.
We'll find them.
Yeah, of course we will. I mean, we're going to the one place I know they'll be, so yeah. I should probably talk to you about it at some point. It might not be what you're expecting.
Meeting your family?
No.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
You're worried about meeting my family.
Oh,
Oh, I see. I think it's cool. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Sorry, the springs are kind of strange geographically. I was going to tell you a bit about that,
okay.
But
cool.
Now I'm worried about that. Yeah, okay. I mean, I should probably also point out that it's not like I'm on best terms with my tribe at the moment, so that's also a thing, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Did you do something really, cool and exciting, and they decided that you were too, bold and that you should probably leave?
No, I just left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah. Viktor, you're obviously feeling shit. Cyrus is going to be sort of like... Cyrus doesn't really know how to look after you, because that's not really the way this goes. But
No.
Cyrus is doing the kind of, you're right? Do you need anything?
Fire soon would be nice.
Okay. Should I start making one? Miss Beckett, is it a problem if I make a fire?
It may not be necessary. It'll be warm and comfortable in here without a fire or smoke or anything of the like, if you can just hold on for 5 minutes.
Okay. Viktor, you all right for 5 minutes? Is that okay?
Fine. She prefers if I pray with a fire, but I can wait 5 minutes.
Well, we can do a fire as well. Like, wouldn't be a guess, right? We can do a fire as well. Yeah. Cyrus is going to look sort of past you out into the blizzard, into the storm, and is just going to sort of focus out from you a little bit.
What's on your mind?
I really want to go, like, back.
Back
To the
back
camp.
to the mine. Back to
to the
Camp Hell.
Yeah. Like,
Well, we'll be back in a few days, I assume. This won't take too long.
yeah, it's just... Wish I hadn't come, you know?
I know. But it's... We may as well see this black goo thing through to the end, eh? We did. It's... Why not?
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. Like, it's... Camp was safe, you know? It was home.
You're telling me.
And I want to go... We've traveled so much, you and me. We've gone to so many places and done so many different things. And yet, right now, that camp feels more like home than anywhere else ever did.
I know exactly what you mean, but like I don't know how much you've heard about gods trapped in ice tunnels.
What, the one the locals believe in, the what was it? The eater chomper.
The devourer.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
I
What?
think I saw it. I think I saw a bit of it, an arm of it.
Shit. Where?
And I think I may have heard it.
Whoa.
And I think it's a cold place and there's only one type of ale and everyone is so... But I think I quite like the place as well. And if we want to keep the place, we need to figure out how to keep it safe.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But Cyrus, if it comes down between that place and our safety, we're leaving.
Yeah, you said. I Viktor,
We'll find another Camp Hell. There's a million boring fucking mining camps.
Yeah, but this one feels different now. Something about it just feels much more like safe, you know? I don't know what it is. Something about that camp. It's got to me. Maybe I finally found home, huh?
That would be a first thing.
Maybe it was always under a fucking glacier.
Come on, let's get comfy and fucking warm for once, maybe, if we're lucky.
Ash, have you finished your incantation? You probably about 10 minutes now.
Okay, everyone inside now.
So who's going to be inside?
We can fit 10, including me.
10 including you. So 1, 2,
5.
3, 4, 5. 6 Cyrus, 7 Kenna, 8 Aspen. There are 2 more spaces for people, but the only other people left are skeletons and an elk.
The elk can't fit because of the size restrictions of the spell. I may as well put 2. Yeah, I may as well put 2 of the skeletons in, and even if I have them stand watch outside, they at least then can enter and leave.
I understand. Okay, so as you finish your incantation, everyone steps inside this dome that is... Can you describe what your dome looks like? Because not everyone's been inside a Liam's tiny hut before.
So, it's rather than it being like a force field going up this time, it's kind of like a sort of a partial rubbing of a force field appearing, growing, sort of like phasing into existence and becoming more solid. But it's a hemisphere of force that in this case is the sort of the bluey white color of the ice that's 20-foot diameter across.
If you're inside it, is it opaque? Can you see out?
You can see out. It's transparent from the inside. Okay. It's opaque from the outside. It can be dim or like I can change the lighting. It's got lighting control, and it is warm and comfortable regardless of the environment outside. So it'll be just like classic, like the room temperature. That perfect room.
And that wouldn't melt the ice underfoot, for example.
It shouldn't generate heat, I assume, in that sense.
Right.
But
Okay. Then in which case,
physics.
as all of you step in, you are suddenly it's warm in here. It's pleasant in here. The wind and the ice is still outside, and you can see it almost, but it seems to sort of stop, and it doesn't coalesce against the barrier. It doesn't sort of start ladening down snow on top of it. But you are getting a sense that you are sheltered while still being bizarrely out in the open. Magic. So, I assume your two skeletons will now step out, and then they have the ability
I'll
to
just have them
traverse.
watch from the outside. Yeah,
Do you explain to everyone that they can step out and back in perfectly?
yeah, but yeah, it's like,
But you
yeah.
can't.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't.
No.
You have to stay inside.
I can leave, but if I leave, the spell turns off.
Oh.
You have to put a new one up.
Cool. Well, you now have your place to rest. You have a location to rest that seems relatively safe, and you have managed to survive your first day on the glacier. And that long rest and how we decide to handle it is where we're going to pick up after our break. So join us in about 5:10 for the second half of Chapter 5 of Icewind Dale Corrupted. Thank you, everyone. See you in a sec. Bye.
Yay.
And we're back. Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 2 of Chapter 5 of Icewind Dale Corrupted. So, you were all settling down for a long rest in Ashra's tiny hut. For those of you who may not be D&D aficionados...
Tiny hut.
For those who are not D&D aficionados, just to be clear, Learmon's tiny hut is a dome of force. It is not a tiny hut. It's not that like Ashra's made some little like wooden construct in the middle of.
I think in 3rd edition it was. That's one of the.
I'm pretty sure it was. I can't remember, but yes, yeah. This is not that. This is a dome of force which you can all rest in. And now that you've all been inside it when it was generated, you can all step in and out of this dome of force. It is warm and pleasant inside, and the snow, the constant blizzard, and the wind won't affect you in the same way. So. This is different. You inside here, you are warm, you're comfortable, even though you are basically on a sheet of ice. The ice will not melt, nothing will affect it in that way. And if anything, there is, as we discussed, the dome is a hemisphere, which means it does have a bottom layer as well. So actually you're not directly on top of the ice, so it is actually relatively comfortable in here. What would everyone like to do? You have 8 hours to long rest. In D&D terminology, you don't need to rest for 8 hours. You need to be not doing much for 8 hours and sleeping for at least 6 of it for it to take effect as a long rest. So you do have time to chat if you want to, engage with each other, roleplay, you know. So you're inside this hut space. You've checked the area and it's relatively safe around here. There were some signs of troll activity, but they didn't seem to be that recent, and you've moved away from it anyway. What would everyone like to do as you all start settling down to rest?
A couple things.
Cool.
First of all, I would like to cast Lesser Restoration to get rid of one of my levels of exhaustion.
Ooh, it's Greater Restoration, not Lesser Restoration.
Greater Restoration, pardon me, which I may not have.
5th level spell.
Oh.
And I don't have it. In which case, I don't do that, and that's okay. But I would like to, again, it didn't go very well the other time, but it's something that Viktor does every night in which he'd like to try and pray again.
Cool. You normally pray with fire. You can make a fire in here and it won't affect the ice underneath you because, as described, this dome is a hemisphere. It also has a bottom level. So you are able to... I mean, do you have any wood on you? Do you have something to start a fire?
I must do. I think I've got that in the pack.
You'll have a tinder
box.
box.
Probably have a tinder box. It doesn't need to be a full fire, even if it's a flame. I have a candle.
Okay, yeah, you can definitely light a candle in here. That's no problem at all.
Yeah, Lyra likes light. She likes warm things. I mean, usually she quite likes the sun, but there we are.
Is Viktor? Are we all in the hut space for this?
I presume so. Yes, unless you say
otherwise. Are you being subtle, Viktor, or is this?
I'm being subtle. I'm not like trying to make a big thing of it. If you notice it, I'll let you notice it. But yeah, I'm not like doing a big thing of it.
Or my goo friend.
So Viktor, you are lighting a candle, and then you speak to Lyra, but in your mind, like you have a one-sided conversation with Lyra in your mind, don't you?
Essentially, yeah. The usual way Viktor prays, the way Viktor communes with Lyra, is kind of thanking Lyra for the joy he's had and recounting the joy he's experienced and maybe attributed to. Praying recently, and maybe for quite a while, has been difficult for Viktor. And today is a bit of a struggle. But, he says, thank you for the laughs. I had a few laughs today, but, just, it's going through the motions at this point, because it's not really done what it used to do for a long time.
And once again, as you pray to Lyra and talk about your day and talk about the things that you've experienced and try and find the joy in it, but you're struggling as per, you get no reply. And
bit of relief, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Prosp'rus, your aura of not being charmedness, 10 foot around you.
Sure, let's call it that now. Aura of devotion.
Yeah.
That aura, if you stay sort of in the middle of the hut, that'll affect everyone in the hut, yes?
Yes, although I am not intending to stay in the hut for the entire...
Oh.
I want to have a chat with Kenna.
Okay, Kenna's in the hut.
Yeah.
You want to take Kenna out the hut?
No, just like to the edge.
Okay.
Of the hut.
Everyone in the hut can hear you having a conversation. It's 20 foot. It's not big.
Yes, outside of the hut.
Okay. Do you give Kenna a tug and step outside the hut?
Can you hear things that are happening outside the hut?
Yes.
Just on the other side of the elk.
Okay, so you and Kenna, you tug on Kenna's sleeve and you take her outside of the hut into the cold and stand on the other side of Eloise the elk. What's up?
You said you were going to tell me something about where we're going.
I mean...
Also about your family. You were going to tell me something about your family.
Okay, the thing about where we're going, I think I should probably...
No, about my family. Your family. Sorry. I'm nervous.
There's not a lot to say, really. Like, I guess my parents will be there, and... Do
you think they'll like me? Do they like you?
I have no idea. They're not the biggest fan of me. I don't know how they feel about me. I just left.
Why?
Because I didn't want to travel across the ice for my entire life and make more children so that the tribe could function.
That's entirely fair.
Okay.
What have you been doing instead?
Well, I went to 10 towns, didn't I?
Yeah.
Bummed around 10 towns. Did some odd jobs, like this one. Like this one, but like this one before it went fucking weird.
Yeah, fair. But what do you want to do?
Travel, see the world.
Okay, great.
Understand a world more than the top of a glacier, frankly.
How do you feel about farming communities?
I couldn't care less about farming communities. I mean, like, yeah, it's a place. I don't know.
How do you feel about going to see lots of different farming communities?
Are you saying that after this is all over, we should go and travel together?
Yes.
Okay, sounds great.
Cool, good. You were going to tell me about where we're going?
I think I should probably tell everyone that.
Okay, cool. So we should go where it's warm again.
Yeah.
Okay.
While Prosp'rus is outside the dome, Viktor, I'm assuming that Prosp'rus was still there while you were praying, so that didn't affect it in that way. Cyrus is going to stand up. I'm just going to pop out for a bit.
Okay. Stay close by.
Sure. Roll an insight check.
Okay.
If it changes anything, when we get there, Ivy and Aspen will already be outside, just if that's useful.
No one's in the damn hut.
Thanks for spec it.
19.
19. Yeah, I rolled a 1. So Cyrus's reply is not as non-committal as Cyrus currently feels.
How about I go out with you? Maybe just a short walk around if that's what you want to do. We have to go a bit slow, and maybe, please, can we not go too far? But maybe you could do the company?
Sure, okay.
Great. Just a quick walk, and then we'll be right back, yeah?
Sure.
Okay. I get up on my still trembly little legs, and I join him.
Oh, you have disadvantage on ability checks. Did you roll it with disadvantage?
I didn't. Let me roll again.
Let's see if it's a 1
I rolled
as well.
a 16 last time, and that's a 19.
Fucking... Okay.
You rolled a 1!
I was hoping. Okay, so you and Cyrus both step out. Milk, it's just you and...
As Victor leaves, I turn to Milk. A magical dome in the middle of the glacier, insulated from the elements, the cold after a long day of travel. Just gestures broadly at the fact there's just us two in here.
They're not even civilized. I know, it's a disgrace. I'm only partially concentrating only listening because while all of that was going on, I would have sat down and cast Detect Thoughts, and I would have been just letting my mind roam around everybody's surface thoughts in the room, just trying to see. I'm looking for any alien weirdness or indeed any interesting tidbits of conversation, but I didn't really find any except in this interaction at the end.
Yeah, and they were inside the dome, so you would have been able to, because the dome blocks magic. So you wouldn't. Yep. You would only been able to listen in on as you settle in on Cyrus's thoughts. Cyrus is feeling very, very drawn back to Camp Howell. Very, very drawn back to where you were. And you also get that vague psionic sense you've already had from a couple others that there is something weighing heavily on him that is pulling him back towards the camp. And Ashra, you don't have this as strongly, but you are feeling a bit like this may have been a bad idea. No one's in your dome. No, you don't. Everyone got attacked.
I'm in your dome.
I appreciate your dome. I just would like to keep my pals safe.
You're wandering off into the middle distance. You have no idea what's going to happen, and you are feeling a bit like you have this very. It's the first time you felt this potentially, and therefore it's a bit of a strange feeling. You kind of want to be with Raoul. You miss them, and there's a certain element of. I could have sent other people to do this. I don't need to be doing this. I could be back there looking after the camera. Other people could be handling this nonsense. Like, it's that kind of feeling in you at the moment?
Yeah.
Sorry, just while Poe was still in the space, was there any of that sense from Viktor?
Viktor also has that vaguely. Victor's is being overridden quite strongly by Viktor being fully aware that something is in Victor's head, which Victor's coalesced as another god and therefore separate. Victor's managing to pass things out better than Ashra and Cyrus are.
Okay, cool. And one last question. If I was just to casually look at Miss Beckett's surface thoughts without her permission, what might I find there?
Interesting.
Probably the things you mentioned, because all the things that Chris mentioned were things that I was thinking anyway without any kind of nudging. Like, those were all there. Like, yeah. So that probably dialed up quite a lot. Yeah.
That, but dialed up to 11.
Awesome.
And from Miss Beckett, you also get that vague psionic sense that something's in her head.
I know, Miss Beckett. Some people just don't appreciate good magical skill. It is a very fine dome. How are you feeling?
Fine. Well, no, but as fine as can be expected under the circumstances. It feels wrong to have left the camp and let the situation there develop, but I don't know.
Would you like to go back?
I'd like to go back, but also the reasons I came are not invalid.
I can logically explain why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, it feels bad.
Good. I guess hold to that thought. There's that wonderful parable about crossing the lake and then turning back when you're already halfway.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Two fishermen were crossing the lake, but they got exhausted and they were halfway, and one of them turns back and drowns, and one of them keeps going because it was closer to the further shore. Just a good little story to keep in mind as we press on, I think.
Maybe, yes, well, I'm sure there's more to that story, but I think I take your point, which is that we shouldn't go back even though we're less than halfway, as I understand.
Yes, you understood completely.
As Prosp'rus and Kenna step back into the dome at this point, Ashra, the same feelings are there, but you feel the strength of them dialed down. And also you've started to understand this connection as well. You're starting to understand what's going on with you. And as Prosp'rus steps back in and it dials back down, you also have this sense of fucking things in my head. Like it's you recognize that you still feel all of those things, but nowhere near as strongly. It's amplifying your feelings, and you're starting to recognize this is not just a voice in your head going, "Do what I say," unlike what Viktor experienced. This is insidious.
I'm going to write myself a note.
Oh, George, every game.
Yeah. I mean, I feel a very wizardy thing to do is to record this and have a sort of externalized form of this at the point when I'm in Prosp'rus's aura to document what I'm feeling and have a sort of external check of some kind that's still from me.
Great.
Originates from me.
I will say that you have given yourself a tool to allow yourself an opportunity to check in if you need to when you are not in Prosp'rus's aura. I'm very happy with that to be something that we have established. And because it's Miss Beckett, it'll probably be a ledger with numbers and records of times. And
scores of different emotions.
I'm currently feeling a 7.
As I step back in, I run my hand up where the kind of edge of the spell would be. Like, I know you can't feel it, but like where it is. This is a very cool thing.
Yes, it's extremely practical in the circumstances. I haven't had cause to use it for a while. Obviously, I have perfectly good accommodations back at the camp, and I'm used to, shall we say, not roughing it.
I mean, you
This is an insulation
probably
against that.
never need to if you have this.
Well, exactly. You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Should I not be?
It wasn't a value judgment. It was just an observation. This seems to be very much your wheelhouse.
I mean, nobody died yet.
Would that be more
The
of your
spirit.
wheelhouse?
No. I mean, if somebody had died, I would stop enjoying it, obviously.
That's the line for you. Someone dying.
Well, yes. If somebody has died, then I've not done my job.
What if someone's really badly hurt? Is that the line?
Well, I can heal someone if they're really badly hurt.
Yeah, okay.
So, no.
Cool. Kenna's walked in with Prosp'rus, obviously, and the four of you are now inside. Ivy, you were outside with us.
Sorry, can I?
Yes.
But yeah, this is what I do. I go places and I fix things for people. It's my job.
Well, it's good to have you here.
Well, I mean, look at the dome. It's good to have you here as well. And your skeletons haven't shot anybody today, so it's a good day.
I will take the most of a compliment.
Ivy, you and Aspen had stepped outside.
Yes, I'd like to do two things, please. Firstly, once we've dumped everything, clap Aspen on the shoulder and go, right, you asked for this. Come on, work out. And run through.
I'm exhausted. What are you doing?
It's this or you don't get to fight. This is my price. Come on.
Can we do it in the morning?
We're doing it both.
What? But we've been walking all day.
Come on, Aspen. I thought you left because of your massively high moral fibre. Was it really because you were tired?
Fine.
Right, come on. And we're going to do an extreme amount of sit-ups, twists, crunches, a long plank.
You're a fucking
press
monster,
ups.
that's what you are.
Training montage!
Training montage! I love a training montage.
Okay,
My favourite bit of any movie.
Is this an exercise routine that you can do in your sleep? Like it's something
Yes.
that you do all the time? But Aspen has not had the same kind of physical training as you to that extent.
So, yes, so I will be slowing it down, coaching, teasing, encouraging.
Okay, you would usually be able to give her advantage on this, but she has disadvantage because of the exhaustion, so she just gets a flat roll on this, which I'm going to count as an athletics check for her.
Come on, Aspen.
That's cocked. 12.
That's not bad.
11, sorry. She does get through it, but she's very clearly showing like, this is a lot.
It is.
Okay, well, that's what I've got to do. It's what I've got to do. And she does press on. She wants to do it. She wants to get to that point where she is able to, so she does press on with you. And probably takes about half an hour, so you're probably outside for the next conversation in the dome, but you are all doing that. Viktor, you've stepped out with Cyrus. We'll come back to that in a second. The four of you in the dome, kind of sort of, I guess it's most important that Miss Beckett and Prosp'rus, you hear this so you know what we're going towards. The place where my people shelter in situations like this, when hunting is bad or during the very long nights, it's a bit different. It may not be what you're expecting, so I want to make sure you have a good understanding of what you're walking into.
Go on.
There is a part of the glacier where there is something underneath the glacier. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it's some kind of, I don't know what the word is in your language. Hot water, hot earth,
Hot spring.
Yes, springs. Springs is the word that we use as well. It's more like I think because it's like a volcanic.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
And I didn't spa. It doesn't matter. There is a part of the glacier where there is quite a lot of water, and there are therefore quite a lot of trees, and the atmosphere is very different from the rest of the glacier. So a bit like the camp, it is slightly underneath, so it has a slightly strange atmosphere. We go there because there is much game there. There are a lot of animals that choose to shelter there, especially during this time of year. And there are things that have, well, there's an ecosystem down there that thrives on its own, and some of the creatures that live down there are very strange, very large lizards, very large creatures that well, hunt each other as well. It is not safe, necessarily.
Really big lizards
Yeah. With massive teeth, Prosp'rus is not entirely great.
with really big teeth.
Yes, Emma, it's dinosaurs.
Oh, I hadn't made that connection. That's the best.
I had. Prosp'rus is very excited. Prosp'rus is trying really hard not to show his excitement.
Roll a performance check.
I'm going to roll with disadvantage. Prosp'rus.
I'm rolling an insight check.
I rolled a natural 1.
You genuinely... There's a little bit of...
My deception is still pretty...
No, it's a natural 1.
It's a natural 1.
Natural 1.
Prosp'rus is trying really hard not to be like, this is so exciting, but it's like...
I got a 19. I just want to catch Prosp'rus's eye and just like raise an eyebrow, just a la previous conversation, but not say anything.
Therefore, it is not like it is a safe space. It is a dangerous space, but it is a space where the cold is not a problem, and where water is not a problem in the same way, and where the dangers from outside do not come into it, but the dangers from inside are great. I don't want to pretend this is some kind of safe haven I'm taking you to.
When you say big teeth, like teeth that you could, remove and then make into like... How big are we talking?
A priest wears a lot of the teeth as part of their accoutrement, yes. Sorry. If Kenna doesn't know the word for spa, Kenna does not know the word accoutrement. part of their look, yeah.
That's so cool.
I will teach Kenna the word spa.
But yes, it is. My people, I think they will be there. I can look for them there. I only have rumours of what is further inside there if we do go further in, but I don't think we should have any reason to.
What are the rumours? Are they even bigger lizards?
Molten rock beneath the earth. If you go deeper, there is more.
That's not as fun.
But it is a very strange. It's very sacred to us. I may get into trouble for even bringing you there, but the need is great, and I understand that.
I'm sure that we can convince them. I'm not sure we can convince them. Thank you for bringing us.
It is important. I wanted to make sure there were no misconceptions about going to some kind of safe place. We're going from somewhere safe to somewhere not very safe to somewhere probably not very safe either. But at least it's not
Not looking for safety. We're looking for information.
Okay. Well, I wanted to inform you of that. I didn't want you to have the impression of anything else.
Thank you.
It sounds very exciting. Somewhere hot.
It is different.
With large lizards.
Yes, they are
Very large
they're very
lizards.
dangerous.
Do you think you could ride
An
one?
excellent way to die.
I'm sure people have tried. If you want to keep going with that conversation, Kenna's pessimism and your optimism will keep bouncing off each other. Right.
Lovely. Just wanted to add, suspect that the small one, the dwarf, the slightly sinister presence thing, it's kind of strong
Cyrus.
in that one. That's the word I was looking for. Kind of a little bit perhaps overwhelmed, I felt, and then rushed off out into the snow. I don't know if anyone noticed, but then the cat went with it. So I wondered if we
Victor.
should... That's
Victor.
it! You're good at
We
this.
have names.
Marshall. Do we want to do something about it? I suspect otherwise we might not see everybody coming back.
Oh, you think we should go fetch them?
I don't have an opinion. I just thought it would be the kind of thing the group would want to know about.
How do you feel, Ashra? Do you feel like you need me to be near you?
I know that it helps. I feel that I am in control of my actions, if not my emotions, all the time. So if you fetching Viktor requires that you leave my presence, then that is fine. I think as long as we stick together in aggregate the most of the time, that would be better.
Okay. I will sidle out to the other side of the dome and see if I can see Viktor.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go see if Viktor requires assistance.
Okay. We'll come to that in a sec. There was a second part to your calisthenics, Ivy.
Yes, which has actually worked out very nicely. Once we're all done and made sure Aspen has, food and cozy things, we'll want to have a chat with Miss Beckett. But if everyone else is going on an expedition, then that works beautifully.
Well, if you head back in, Prosp'rus just stepped out and is looking around. You can communicate with him if you want to. So what pronouns is Prosp'rus using right now?
Yes, see him.
He, him. You can communicate with him if you want to. Otherwise, you can step in and sort Aspen out, and then Miss Beckett's right there if you want to talk to her.
Yeah, I mean, I'll check. Prosp'rus, is everything okay?
We have a feeling that Cyrus might be under the control of the, potentially being influenced by the goo. We're just going to go check.
I should stay guard Miss Beckett, right?
She doesn't feel like she's a danger to herself at the moment.
Oh, I meant from outside scary things, because, she would die, but also fair point.
Inside a dough with impenetrable force. I know she's been...
Ivy doesn't know how this dough works.
I'm about to talk to Ivy about it. Shut up. I don't think anything can get inside the thingy. The big blue thingy. Did you see where Viktor went?
That way.
I go that way.
Cool. So, yeah, you can head inside. Ivy, do you want to talk to Ashra?
Sure.
Well, you go ahead and set up, and we'll do the next bit.
Can I ask you a question?
I don't see why not.
It might be really rude, and I don't mean to be rude. I just don't understand. So forgive me if it's rude. I'm just really curious. I've seen powerful people with servants. Lots. You have dead servants. And at first I thought they might be what people that you killed in glorious battle, and then I've seen you fight, so I know it can't be that. So who are they? What? It's just, why? If it's really rude, you don't have to answer. Sorry.
No, it's... She genuinely... Again, similar to what you saw when we were when Milk was trying to remove the head of one of the miners' bodies in the mine. Different aspect, less withdrawn, more just sort of raw emotional, not controlling how she's projecting herself as much. They were people who are important to me. Not, I see your insinuation. Well, I see what you're saying, and I'm aware how it may sound. No, I did not kill them, but I mean, we're better to have a conversation like this. I could not let go of them. I did not want to let go of them. Which is why there are 6 and not more, because I would not do this unthinkingly or lightly, because the dead deserve respect, and I hope they are respected. And they're not who they were, but they are still part of my life.
It seems like you respect them very much. I'm sorry for speaking lightly of them before. And I'm sorry, family in whatever form we have to make it, it matters we keep hold of them. What were their names?
The 3 here, I'll point to the skeletons outside. That was Kevan and Marcus and Prin. They're not those people now, and to think so is foolish.
You saw me earlier. I'm not one to lecture people about being foolish where family is concerned.
No, but family clearly matters a lot to you.
Well,
it makes us make difficult decisions, sometimes badly.
Do you have family who aren't skeletons?
A slight wry smile. Well, the zombies are still at the camp, but not anymore, not as such.
I'm sorry.
It was a long time ago, and reparations were made, or rather, the situation was balanced.
That I understand.
What do you,
No, sorry, go.
what are you hoping for up here?
That's a question. I sort of gave up on hope. Waking up not dead. Waking up where I went to sleep, not surrounded by lots of screaming. Waking up with Aspen looking safe and happy sort of is the next, hope beyond that is foolish. Hope is foolish.
It feels that way at the moment.
It has always felt that way.
Well, I hope that you have the time for that to change. I hope that we all have the time for that to change. But I'm not counting anything.
Time would be nice. Don't know how much there is, but yes, time would be lovely. Anyway, I have a very pesky little sister. So if you ever want reminding that family is not all it's cracked up to be, just borrow her for half an hour and, you can thank me later.
Ashra, behind Ivy, Aspen has face planted into a sleeping
I'll give you a smile and a nod, and then the mask sort of comes back up a little bit.
I give a nod of recognition at the mask and head off to find some food, probably.
There's plenty of food in here. You would need to start a fire to cook any of the raw owlbear you have, but you could potentially eat some of the food that you'd already got, which is already pretty.
I feel like cooking raw owlbear is definitely like Prosp'rus's department.
You can ask Kenna. Kenna's also aware of how to do
brilliant.
it, but yes, hasn't come to that yet. Victor, you stepped out with Cyrus, and Prosp'rus is going to join you in a second. As you step out with Cyrus, you step out and away from the dome, and it is cold, and you are still exhausted. It's been a day, but as you step out of the dome with Cyrus, and Cyrus sort of walks out a bit, after you've walked about 10, 50 feet or so, Cyrus will stop and turn to you and go, "We should go back."
Why? We came out this far. We may as well go the rest of the way.
All the reasons I said earlier.
Is that... Yeah, about that. Is this thing about Camp Howell, is this recent? Is this new?
Yeah,
Well, think about it. What was another recent thing you did, Bonehead?
you think it's the stuff.
Yeah, I do.
How do I
And
know?
that's why we're going to wherever the fuck to test this out to see what's wrong with it.
Yeah, but how do I know? How do I know what's it and what's me, you know?
I do. Trust me, I do. But the best thing we can do right now is keep going because we're going to come back.
Can't you get rid of it? Like you can do lots of healing stuff. Can't you make it go away? Make it go away.
Would that I could. Trust me. Maybe we should go speak to Prosp'rus again. He, standing next to him, it helps a bit, doesn't it?
Speaking of which, walking up from behind, let's read into the conversation.
Oh, hey Victor. I was just checking to see that everything was fine.
Cyrus is going to quite sort of directly step up towards you, and as soon as he gets within 10 feet of you, just sort of like stumbles a little, and
I will grab his shoulder if he's stumbling.
cool. And he just looks down with a kind of like...
Yeah, I'll come up behind him.
Cyrus looks up at you, Prosp'rus.
I think
Make it go away. If you can make it go away, make it go away.
That's where we're going. We're going to try and find a way to make it go away, but I can't make it go away right now. Apart from literally being right here.
Then I'm staying next to you.
Okay.
I think we've had a nice enough, long enough work now. Let's please get back into the warm tent. Thank you. Prosp'rus, do you mind taking my friend? Just keep him nearby for the night.
Yeah, of course. Are you coming back, Viktor?
Yeah, yes, please.
All three of you step back inside. Cyrus is now very aware of the difference and is not handling it well.
Yeah. As we're kind of walking slowly back, I'll just turn to Victor and be like, Victor, I just earlier, when you said that, you were sorry that you'd asked wanted people to eat it, I don't think you did anything wrong.
I don't think I did either, not in principle, but yeah, the road of good intentions, and I just don't want people to be hungry anymore. And I'm not going to stand by when there's something I can do about it, but let's fix what we started, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
All three of you
and I'm
sorry, go on.
Sorry
No, go
for
ahead.
the spat in...
Me too.
You know, whatever. Just that. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I get a bit hot sometimes.
Yeah. That's enough sentimentality.
The three of you step back into the dome. Everyone's now back in the dome. It is, again, calm, and everyone can start settling down for the night. Cyrus is not going to leave your side, Prosp'rus, and is clearly freaking out strong, is unsure of what he thinks, and that's a really unnerving and unpleasant feeling for him, that he's not got the same mental fortitude as Ash does, or the divine inspiration that Viktor has, to be able to ward off in the same way.
Can I make him some tea?
Yeah, of course you can.
I can make him a cup of tea.
While Prosp'rus makes some tea, I'll sit by him and tell him some fun anecdotes, old stories.
Between
Try
the two
and
of you, yeah, you do manage to
take his
calm him
mind.
down. Yeah, you do manage to calm him down a bit between the two of you, being nice to him, frankly. And do that very British thing of making tea for someone who is upset, and it seems to work. So
Every time.
Yeah. So you are all able to settle down and come to a rest if you want to.
Can I just ask Malinois?
Mm-hmm.
Malinois, darling, as I'm looking at the body of Cyrus uncomfortably on the ground, is there anything we can do to lessen the hold that the creature has over this person, do you think?
Why would we want to lessen it, Milk? It is joy.
Well,
it is.
That's a philosophical conversation, Malinois, darling. I really just need a straightforward answer.
Once you're part of the great host, nothing will break it. Or maybe there are things that will, that we don't know of yet, but nothing I'm aware of, certainly.
It was a very long-winded no, dear.
Milk,
Nothing we can do to ease this person's pain, helpfully.
the thing that would ease his pain most is your friend stop standing so close.
Okay, Mel, thanks for that. Good chat.
We need to ask Red about his squid.
You do note that Malinois is now keeping a bit of distance from Prosp'rus, weirdly. There's now a sort of no, I'm not sure I like what he can do. So there's a very definite sort of care being taken there.
Oh, okay. If I notice that, then I would immediately instruct Malinois to go and float near enough to Prosp'rus to be a part of his aura.
Okay, let's have that conversation.
Oh, yeah. Would you just fetch me that thing from over there? Just,
of course.
Dad is tired.
Floats over, gets you something, floats through Prosp'rus' aura perfectly happily and gets everything back, and then floats out of the aura again.
Okay, will you just go and float by Prosp'rus just for a minute?
Why?
Just because Daddy says.
Milk, I'm not comfortable with someone who can stop the effects of this.
Why not?
Because it is a good thing.
No, that's just what everybody says. You need to think for yourself. Remember when you were snappier and had more of your own mind? No,
My mind hasn't changed, Milk.
It's like having an advert for a familiar currently. Like, you just say the same thing over and over. Just need a little bit more personal intention. Please.
She floats down onto your shoulder and sort of gets quite close to you. Milk, there is something beneath the ice that is good, that is trying to find more friends and do more things. I am not controlled by it, like some of your friends are. I have not supped from the same thing that they have, and I don't want to. But I recognize something positive when I see it. I cannot make that connection in the way that all of you can, and that saddens me. But there is something here, a gift that you and these others are all going to throw away.
Granted, but counterpoint, Millenaway. The word devour was the one chosen, not the word connect or achieve. The word devour was the one our friend under the ice chose.
That is how devouring the essence is how you become one with it.
To consume, to destroy. These creatures, myself very much included, enjoy our individuality, as do you.
That does not mean I turn down help and turn down care and affection when it is given.
But care and affection at the cost of oneself is not care or affection, it's oblivion.
I do not believe it is at the cost of themselves. It is simply tapping into their greater desires.
Says you. At this point, this poor chap here is clearly beside himself, and you will offer no comfort. And yet, being in people's minds...
What comfort can I offer?
Well, nothing apparently, but I don't really feel like you've tried your hardest.
Well, let's agree to disagree, shall we?
If we absolutely must. I will snap my fingers and put Millen away in her alternate dimension. Done with talking to that one.
Okay. Are you all settling down for a long rest?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I want to order the skeletons to wake me if anyone leaves sneakily in the night. Leaves the dome, that is.
Mm-hmm. Sure. You do.
Ashra,
Prosp'rus.
can your skeletons protect my elk?
Yes, they'll be keeping eyes out, as it were.
Thank you.
I'll order the skeletons to continue watching and also specifically to protect the elk if anything tries to hurt the elk.
How many commands can they take at one go?
It can have it depends how smart they are, I suppose.
How smart
you render them. They have intelligence of 6. There's no specific limits on what they can understand, but I think it's relatively simple.
Can you roll me an intelligence check for your
I guess I can give them different instructions. So I can give one of them an instruction to wake me and the other 2 instructions to, I guess, protect. In fact, you know what? All of them wake me up. One of them wake me up if someone leaves. The other 2, if something threatening attacks the elk, wake me up as well. Wake everyone up. Make noise.
Okay, you can do that. You can give them one command each. I'm fine with giving them multiple commands. We're getting to intelligence.
Yeah,
rolls.
that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Fine. So you do that. Everyone else is settling down, long resting.
Yeah. Prosp'rus sleep fights.
You sleep fight.
Yeah.
I didn't want to sneak out in the middle of the night, but now I just want to.
Oh, you do,
Before do a long rest, actually, should I cast Create Food and Water?
Ooh, good idea.
Because then you can have it for tomorrow. Yeah, so of course you can.
Could I also cast my Animate Dead spell and refill my ring? Of what's it, as it were? Yes, yes. I will do that.
Right, yeah, that has been cast. We have how much more food and water? 45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water.
That's loads.
Nice.
Which means you can have a solid breakfast and still the elk can carry a lot of it. So yes, you are able to do that as well.
Poor elk.
Well,
Poor
you made a pack animal. What did you expect? And George, you're re-upping your
Yeah,
your
so it's
animated
24 hours
days.
from now. Just we'll have spell slots left over.
No problem.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think a horse would be able to trek this terrain, do I?
No.
No. So this is why I didn't make a war horse.
Yes. So you are all resting there. Is anyone planning on sneaking out in the middle of the night?
want to.
I wasn't gonna. She did put the
She
idea
said
in
it.
my head.
No, I want to sleep.
I was mostly thinking of Cyrus, but yes.
No, and I'd like to handcuff myself to the door to make sure he doesn't do it either.
Do you have handcuffs? Do you want to handcuff yourself to Cyrus?
No.
Okay.
I was joking, but only a little.
Because of what just happened, Cyrus isn't going to try and run away anymore. Cyrus is going to not leave Prosp'rus's aura ever.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You didn't want any
nights.
privacy, a date, anything,
Date
right,
night's gonna be
Prosp'rus?
so awkward.
Oh yeah, random dwarf. How's it going? Cool. In which case, you all settle down for a long rest, and you sleep for 6 to 8 hours, depending on how long. But you can all sort of rest, and there's no need to set a watch or anything.
Can we press the button?
Hang on.
Oops.
Doesn't matter.
I'll just reel that back.
In the middle, it doesn't matter, George. You're fine. In the middle of the night, can everyone make me a con saving throw to see if this wakes you up?
Everyone is within 10 feet of me.
Yes, they
Correct.
are.
Ooh.
Everybody gets +5.
100%.
Yes, they do. That's
Plus
correct.
5?
+5.
Paladins.
Oh, that fell off.
I rolled really badly.
Hey!
That's 13 for me.
13 for you. Thank you.
That's 20. Yes, 23. I can do maths.
23 for Victor. Thank you.
I got the
17.
most pointless natural 20. So
So
I'm really awake.
what was your total, Ivy?
27.
7. Thank you. Milk.
17.
17. Ashra.
It was +5 for the order, right?
Yes.
12.
12. Okay.
Such a waste.
Victor and Ivy, you're the only two. What did you roll?
14.
No. Victor and Ivy, you're the only two who are woken by this, and you can choose what you do with it. You both, sleeping relatively lightly, you hear a noise. Enough that you are no longer asleep and quickly up and what the hell. Outside the dome, about 70 feet away, a giant, frost giant, is walking down the gully. Looking at this frost giant, it's quite a long way away. You can't see it very clearly because it's still a blizzard, because the blizzard never ends. It's like a huge shape in the distance, but you've seen a frost giant recently. So you can put 2 and 2 together and go, it's another frost giant that appears to be walking slowly down the gully. It's not going to get closer than roughly 70 feet to the dome, but it is walking not too far from you.
Would like to. Hang on.
You'd
Well, I'd
hang
like
on?
to cast Guardian of Faith.
Why?
Like,
Ooh.
near to where we are. So if it comes closer, Guardian of Faith will deal with a little bit of it.
Is Guardian of Faith a thing that glows really brightly?
Yeah, it's a big glowing figure if you cast
It
it.
can't go out the dome,
no.
though. It can't cut out the dome. So.
I mean, if it helps, Ivy would have woken and
To do
look
it.
to see if anyone else is awake, make eye contact with you, and just kind of go,
Hang on, I can't actually see you.
so she'll just be
Go.
going, just wait. And so she'll be making very clear gestures of just, let's not do anything and let's just see.
George, the dome
Up
is
to you what you do with that, but that's what Ivy's doing.
George, the dome is opaque, so
Yes, from the inside, from the outside, it's opaque. We can see out. Yeah.
Yes, but that means that someone looking in from the outside would have to recognise this dome is not like the ice all round it, which we already said it sort of blends in.
Trying
Just
to.
working on a check. What's your spell save DC?
16.
Okay. The heavy tread continues down the gully, doesn't stop, and walks away from you.
Cast it now.
You make a series of arcane hand gestures and sleep. Okay. Do you both go back to sleep?
Ivy might sit up just for like 20 minutes just to check that it's not coming back up. It didn't go to bring friends, that we're all okay.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But then, yeah, we'll
pensively stare out into the blizzard, and you wait 5, 10, 15 minutes. Doesn't appear to be anything happening. The wind does die down slightly, but it's still snowing quite heavily.
And just for flavour, while Ivy's sitting, she'll just be stroking Aspen's hair, just mechanically for 20 minutes. This is how people do affection. Yes, good.
Sure. In which case, you all complete a long rest and you wake up in the morning. I say wake up in the morning. It's not morning. It's still nighttime. It's still snowing. Nothing has changed. You do know as you wake up that the blizzarding, like windy horribleness of this has calmed down slightly. It's still snowing continually, and there is, like, you can see around the edges of the dome, because the snow does not enter the dome. It doesn't sit on the dome. It just sort of fades away as it gets into the dome through the power of magic. But this snow has piled up around the edges where it can hit the ground to a height of about maybe a meter.
Another day. Time to see if it's sunny.
We got visited by a frost giant in the night.
Oh.
Morning, everyone.
Very polite. Didn't get too close. We're all good.
Walked past, we were all fine.
Did it look clawy?
It was sort of a big stomping blur
Oh.
far off in the distance in the middle of a blizzard. I'm afraid I got an outline and that was it.
You could go and check the tracks if you wanted to.
Just wondering if it was, like the one in the cave that had claws instead of hands.
If it was corrupted,
corrupted. Do you want me to go look? I can nip out now.
Well, I don't think we should get close to the frost giant if it left us alone.
What did you say, Victor?
Me.
Yeah, you said something and I didn't hear it because it was two people talking at once. It's all right.
It ended up not being very relevant, so it's okay.
Never mind. Okay. So Ivy, do you want to go and check where the tracks were?
Sprint out, have a look, sprint back. Yes.
Okay. Roll me a... Do you stealth? Are you being careful?
No, don't think so.
The snow is now quite... The snow's falling...
Actually, it cost me nothing to stealth because it's me. So yeah, let's do it.
Fine. The snow has fallen quite thick, and it's now no longer being swept away in quite the same aggressive manner. So the snowfall is quite thick, and it's continuing. So you are sort of trudging through about a meter of snow. It's quite heavy going.
Okay. So stealth check or just survival?
Stealth check first if you want.
I mean, that's 24.
Sure. Survival check as you run up. You can because the snow is not falling in the same way. The footsteps are much more visible.
Ooh, nat 18, so 21.
Great. As you move out, you can see these footsteps where the giant went, and you can see they continue down the gully. You can also see where they came from, and you can see that it was moving down the gully and walking, and you can see where the footsteps go back out on top of the glacier. And you can also see that there are other footsteps that are going into some of the tunnels as well, slightly smaller ones.
Trolls.
Potentially.
Do the giants have the weird claw things going on?
The feet, they are huge, giant feet. The toenails all end in spikes.
Can Ivy remember if that was what was going on with the giant in the cave?
None of you looked at the giant too carefully in the cave, but I will say that you did note that giants don't tend to have clawed feet, and yet the giant in the cave also bit Ashra quite heavily, which is also not very giant-like behaviour.
You did point out the giant had clawed hands.
Did have clawed hands, yeah. So I think clawed feet is probably fair. The one in the cave also had clawed feet, fine. Yes.
So this is looking similar. Spiky toenails is similar. Okay. Yes. I will head back and relay this information and also say it looks like trolls have visited the caves in the night, so we might want to pack up and head out soon.
Kenna's looking very concerned. More... Prosp'rus, you mentioned a giant that was kind of bestial down in under the glacier. There's another one like that?
Yeah, and you said they aren't normally... Frost giants aren't normally...
No, they're communicative. They're giants. They have their own culture, but we tend to avoid them and they avoid us. Not because we don't like each other, but because there's no reason to talk about things, really. But having giants with these kind of features is very odd. I've never heard anything like it.
It's disturbing to find them here this far from the source of the corruption that we found so far, if that is indeed the source.
Do you think this ooze is corrupting them into this form?
It's one possible theory. The trolls in the camp, I believe, were.
Yes, they
I
were.
don't know if I know that in character. I think I do. I think Milk shared that.
Well, if Milk shares it now, then everyone knows.
Yeah, okay, that seems fine. In case, vials here, trolls. Yeah, this would be a worrying development. Possible conjecture: thing has infected various other species and is now pursuing us because it thinks we're about to do something in resistance to its purposes.
Now, in many ways, that would be better, because that would imply there was a singular source of the corruption that was trying to thwart us intelligently. But if the implication is that multiple sources of this foodstuff substance are all corrupted, that is significantly worse.
I mean, it's almost like giants and trolls. Like, trolls tend to work for giants. Giants tend to use trolls as labor for things they don't want to do. But giants and trolls working together like this, with some kind of almost crossover between them? I mean, I don't know.
I guess we should get on our way. Get out of their space.
Well, the way we go from here is we could either try and go through some of these tunnels. It would keep us out of the snow. All of these tunnels come back up and rejoin the water sources, so it's an easy way to travel. Or we could go back onto the top of the glacier and then... I mean, we'd be able to see footsteps, wouldn't we? We'd know what was going on.
How far do you think we are now, Kenna?
From?
The entrance to the subterranean lizard.
From the springs.
Springs.
We travelled more yesterday than I thought we might achieve in one day, so we're probably only a couple of days away.
Okay.
There are a couple more obstacles along the way, but I think we should be fine.
In tunnels present a lack of exposure to the elements. That means we might travel slightly further. We should probably just resign ourselves that we'll have at least one fight in some tunnels, but might be better than it'll be really slow going, a meter of snow.
If it was just trolls, I wouldn't be worried, but if there's also giants that appear to be like part troll or something, then that's dangerous. I don't know what we do with that.
I mean, we can totally take a giant.
We did. I mean, Miss Beckett may not want to, but maybe she'd be keen to do better. So who knows?
We're traveling with people who are not as seasoned as you.
Prosp'rus, you said there was something you could do about that. I didn't recognize the word, but you said...
I can, well... Viktor, I don't know if you can as well. I can make one person harder to hit. It's the spell sanctuary, Poe.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
It is less expensive for you as well, because first level spells for you are less expensive than for me.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Sure. Yeah.
Or just throwing into the mix, I do carry with me at all times a giant fly, just in case it's useful, which I'm not sure about the blizzard, but on a good day, we can travel about 81 miles a pop.
I'm sorry, what?
You're going to have to unpack that a little.
How giant? What kind of fly? What?
And we could have travelled 81 miles and you didn't say anything.
Well,
Can it
we
fly
can't do
in
it
blizzards?
all the time. I'm not sure. It is a fly. I don't know how well attuned to blizzards it might be.
Does it
But
have
we also
big
wouldn't all fit on it.
Does it have really
But I could
big
also
fly
turn into a
eyes?
giant eagle, which would provide us 2 fairly rapid airborne modes of transport for, well, the fly for up to 12 hours. The eagle conquers it for. I've just wanted that to be out there. It seems like this might not be the moment to exploit the situation, but at some point...
Why don't we just do that?
Because the giant fly could carry maybe 2 people, and even if Milk is in giant eagle form, he could carry maybe 2 people. It wouldn't be enough. You'd
For
leave
an
people
hour.
behind.
Yeah,
For an
it's
hour,
5.
the eagle.
It's 5.
So I suppose perhaps we keep it then as a in case any of us end up in really difficult circumstances or get really, really bored.
I mean, is it a thing where if someone falls unconscious in a fight, you could pick them up with a fly and lift them out of being hit again?
How many actual people do we have?
No.
8.
8.
Is polymorph concentration?
Yes.
Shame. Could have cast it twice.
No, you can't cast polymorph twice. It's a concentration spell. But you have a potential quick fix if.
That's a nope out. Good card to play.
Yeah, I agree. It is. So what are you going to do? How are you going to travel?
I'm in agreement about shelter and tunnels.
I agree.
We can protect people if necessary. Kenna, if you think
there's more troll activity than usual, that's concerning. But if we can actually try and be a bit quieter this time, maybe we can go carefully. Maybe if we have someone scouting up ahead and looking out for things, I think Ivy, it seems almost obvious that you should be doing that.
I'm sorry, I don't have any extra armor, so I can't take the plate off.
I think it makes sense if there's a scouting party going ahead and finding the path, and if there's anything dangerous or things we should worry about, then we can try and move around them and try and be cautious. If we're in agreement, I think it's probably the best way forward.
Yes. If there are specific areas that are difficult to scout in the short term, I can take care of that safely, I believe, but only for relatively short focus periods.
Okay. Well,
So there is the fact that I can either scout up ahead or I can stay within 30 feet and make you all quieter. I cannot do both. Because making you quieter means I'm within 30 feet of you.
But that's only for an hour, isn't it? So that's only once we know that things are there.
Yeah, true. I can scout, come back and make you quiet.
this seems like a good plan. Okay. Well, then let's pack up and get ready to go. Is everyone ready to just pack up and go?
Yeah.
Yes, everyone should probably put on their warm gear because the dome should come down in about 2 minutes.
Chris, is it okay to just, so we don't have to roleplay every time, canonically every morning and every night,
Yes.
Ivy puts Aspen through her paces? Is that...
I'm going to roll. She has slept. So those of you who had 1 level of exhaustion, it is gone. Those of you that have 2 levels of exhaustion, you now only have 1. Sorry, Viktor.
That's cool. My constitution is laughable.
Stay near me, Viktor.
That doesn't work like that. But yes, people who want to stay near Prosp'rus can. I think the marching order stays much the same, but Cyrus is going to be closer to Prosp'rus. Can we just confirm what the marching order is as you all move out of camp? Aspen rolled an athletics check, just fine. Still doing all your exercises and happy to. So what is the marching order? If Ivy's up ahead scouting, what is the order behind that?
I'm wherever Prosp'rus and Cyrus are.
Okay, so the 3 of you are like a little chunk. Ashra's probably near that
Likewise.
too, and the skeletons are near that.
Behind, but yeah.
I think it's probably like Ivy, Kenna, me, and crew.
Okay. I'm happy to say Ivy, Kenna, and crew, with the elk at the back carrying everything. That probably seems the most sensible option. Cool. In which case, that is where how we will move forward. As you're moving forward into the tunnels, you're already sort of at the mouths of some of these tunnels, so you can easily move through them. Ivy, Kenna will basically sort of point out where the best way to go. And if you then scout up ahead and come back, you can then all move forward. And it'll be quite slow moving, won't be the fastest progress, but it is safer. And knowing that you have the tiny hut at the end of the day, unless a lot of spell slots get used, as you know, it's a ritual. So knowing you have a tiny hut at the end of the day means that you can cover more ground, and the ability to rest, you don't have to rest for as long. So actually it is able to travel much faster thanks to the tiny hut. It is very useful in this context. So, right. In which case, can everyone please roll me a general stealth check, just so we know generally where we're at as a party. Not you, Ivy. We'll do yours separately because it's different.
I'm already at disadvantage, so this is fine normal roll.
Stack. Disadvantage doesn't stack. You're already at disadvantage. That doesn't change.
Oh, is it? Are you in plate as well?
Oh, I rolled a 20 and a 1.
Oof.
Oh.
21.
You rolled a 21 with
I
disadvantage.
rolled a 21. I rolled an 18 and then a 17, and I have +4 to stealth.
Wow.
Solid.
Yes.
Mine is a 1.
Yours is a 1, and a 1 is a 1 is a 1, I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, it's a 1 anyway. I have +0.
Oh, yeah. 9.
9.
Dean.
Roll for the
15
scouts as well, but
Okay. The NPC's rolls are not fantastic either. So you're going to struggle to be stealthy, but at this point you have a buffer that is Ivy. So for now it's not a humongous problem. But just so you're aware, currently you're not managing to stealth particularly well, and Kenna's aware of this too, and is going to be sort of
Shooting e-balls at me.
No, not at all. Is there any way you can like muffle your armor?
How?
I don't know. Wrap it
With what?
blankets.
And then fight how?
Good point.
I mean, I'm assuming that the only reason I'm being so quiet is just the joints on my chainmail have frozen shut. And so it's enough angle.
I think it's more that it's a new day and you're aware that you're still exhausted, so you're just taking extra care. You're being very cautious and starting to get a better sense of how to handle this terrain. So there is an element of keeping it calm, keeping it steady. Cool. Ivy, you're going to move up ahead, as Kenna pointed out to you, so we're going to sort of narrate it from your perspective for now, if that's okay with you.
Cool.
Can you roll me a stealth check? This one matters more.
Well, unfortunately, I have advantage and +8. Thank goodness. One was in that 1 and one was in that 17. So 25.
Cool. Kenna will point out a tunnel, and if you move up it, roll me a survival check as you move up it and look around. We're going to assume for the time being that you move up, step back, get everyone to move up, and so on. So it's like a step process where I'm going to narrate it as if you're just traveling because it's easy. So everyone's about 30 to 40 feet behind you at all times.
I fall over
16.
every rock.
Kong, Kong, Kong. What was yours?
16.
16 on survival check. As you move up, you do see more of these troll markings. There are clearly more trolls around here, and they are clearly more active. It is very dark under here. Are you using key points to see in the dark?
Yes, that's the point. I will absolutely have done that if I'm sneaking off by myself.
Grand, good.
Thank you for the heads up.
It's all good. Just want to make sure, otherwise you're just walking around dark tunnels. As you see more of these markings, you can also start to see some footprints as well. They're not like, the snow isn't heavy down here by any stretch of the imagination, but there are sort of wet patches of flooring where you can see claw marks in the floor as well. And these tunnels are not big. Like, there's no way someone of the size of a giant would fit through them. But there is definitely more troll activity in these areas, and definitely a sense that something here has changed. Kenna, certainly whenever you step back and say so, gives you the impression that this is not good and is a worry, and it looks like the activity in this whole area, probably because of Kenna will conjecture with you that probably because of the eternal night at the moment that's emboldened them, and probably not many predators out for them to have to deal with. Ivy, as you continue to move forward, moving through the glacier and moving underneath in these tunnels, up ahead you do see something that you at first need a second to sort of piece together what's going on. There's light coming out of the tunnel, coming down the tunnel, which there shouldn't be. And as you move up and start to look around, up ahead of you, you can hear the sound of running water. And your tunnel joins another tunnel, which does have water running down it. In that tunnel, someone has put sconces on the wall, not like sort of proper like metal sconces, but wooden brackets that have had torches stuck in them. And it looks like someone is habitating down here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to keep doing the sneaking forward, going back to everyone and moving them through this tunnel?
I would, having seen this, move silently back to Kenna and say, stop there. I think there's someone ahead. Get everyone to stand completely still. I'll be back. And, if you hear screaming and punching, come help.
I could investigate without you exposing yourself, as it were.
I mean, Miss Beckett, with all due respect, I have more faith in my own abilities right now.
Wait, Ashra, could you elaborate rather than just what are you actually?
Sure. Yes, I'm used to implications, etc., etc. I can see. I can send a constructor a projection which lets me see invisibly ahead and scout out the area.
Invisibly.
I can cast Arcane Eye. That's what I can do.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So no one will be at risk. It will not be seen or heard, and you can see what's going on. Then
I'll
do that.
Very well. And I would like to cast Arcane Eye.
I wanted to do the sneaking.
I'll definitely leave plenty of room for you to do still sneaking.
Cool.
Seems like a good place for it, though.
Yeah, 100%. I would have died, maybe.
Cool. You cast Arcane Eye. And do you send it down the tunnel and forward?
Yeah. I've got an hour of this, so I can just 30 feet Omnivision all around it, and Dark Vision.
It has Omnivision and Dark Vision, and what can it see? Invisible things? Talk me through it.
Let me have a look. Normal vision and dark vision, it looks in every direction at once, up to 30 feet. It can, as my action, it can move 30 feet at a time. There's no limit how far away it can move.
Sure.
It can fit through, it can't move through barriers, but it can fit through 1-inch gaps. But it can't see invisible things.
How perceptible is it?
As in what? It's...
True seeing, don't you see it?
No, it's not. It can only see normal and dark vision. It doesn't have its own stats. Oh, what can see it? It's invisible. So if you could see an invisible thing, then you could see it.
Okay. As you move it out,
that's terrifying. I was yeah.
Slight smile on Chris's face there.
As you move it out into this tunnel, you can see these wall sconces, and you can see that this area is there's traversal and there's troll markings again. As the eye floats out and up this tunnel, the tunnel doesn't widen out by any stretch of the imagination. It continues, but as it moves forward, there is a point in the ice where you see a black stone wall, a black stone that you recognize, placed in this tunnel. It is placed. It has clearly been broken and shoved into this tunnel to make a makeshift wall of some description. It's been bashed and battered into shape. There is a sort of... It has a door in it. It has an archway door in it that has a wooden door, but it doesn't fit the sides perfectly. It has been very much constructed and placed here, so you can pass the eye around it if you want to.
Take a quick look at the wall just to take it in a little bit and then go just through
it
one of the gaps.
It is very much a part of a Netherese city. It is part of that construct. You've seen it before. And
I will mention, I will narrate up to this point out loud, which is probably uncommon for Ashra to do so, and feels slightly strange doing so, giving away information that she's learning, but seems appropriate in the circumstances.
It has the same sort of like almost circuit board style markings in it, and has very clearly been like brute force smashed off and placed in this tunnel. Like it is, and the archway that was part of an original door potentially has a wooden door in it which allows passage. As you fly around it, because the edges are not contiguous, it's not fitted perfectly. You fly out into a gigantic cavern. This cavern is not so much tall as it is wide. It has a great... You can see that there's running water that's been running down the bottom of this tunnel already and was running down through the archway door. This whole area is semi-submerged. There's quite a lot of water. It's almost an underglacial lake. And because it is quite wide, you can see that there are parts of this Netherese city, maybe the same one, maybe a different one, you don't know, that range out of the water at strange angles. Where the piece you saw looked quite like a set, structured piece, this looks a lot more like a variety of detritus. It doesn't look anywhere near as pieced together. It looks more like piecemeal. Looks like various bits of this have been left lying around and are all placed in this area. As you move in here, you can see that there's quite a few trolls swimming in the water. Like, not for fun, they're moving around. And quite a few... yeah. There's quite a few sort of what look like makeshift encampment style things on various pieces of the shattered city and ice that float in the water. There is ice above, but you can see the ice is quite thin. You can just about see the night sky and get the sense of the Aurora Borealis that are constant through it. In places there are cracks and there are holes as well. You can see where snow is falling in and through. this whole area, you can't see how wide the lake is because it's so large, but parts of the ice on the roof do sort of sink beneath it, so it looks more like you'd be sort of moving between various pieces rather than like trying to sort of cross a gigantic lake and just cross it and move on. There's a lot of trolls. You do also see about 2 or 3 giants. They appear to be sitting with the trolls in most cases, and as you fly a bit closer and look at them more closely, they are quite bestial. And you can now, as looking at them up close with trolls in their vicinity, and those sort of looking at this quite carefully, having encountered them before, they do look troll-like. They look like elements of their physiognomy have been made more troll-like. Like something about them has become trollified. There are also a couple of other animals that the trolls clearly keep as pets. There are some what you would recognize as winter wolves and quite a few other creatures. What this looks like a large grouping of these creatures altogether.
It's a troll warren, or something of that nature.
What Kenna sort of talks to you, realizes you can't see right now, and just
Oh, I can. It's entirely the eye is entirely separate to my senses. It just telepathically communicates all the things that it sees to me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, I assumed it was like a familiar. It looks what the lake.
The lake, and I'll give some estimation of the number of trolls, whether it's in the ones or tens or dozens or hundreds.
It's in the dozens.
Yeah.
Not in the hundreds.
Few
It's like maybe
dozens of trolls.
like you've seen roughly 25.
Roughly 25 trolls. A few of the giants with the strange modifications, I suppose, and some animals, possibly pets or pack animals or food. I don't know.
You didn't see any boats or anything like that. There's normally a couple of boats tied up on the side.
No, there's a lot of the Netherese architecture poking through, and they appear to have placed a makeshift barrier with a wooden door. Is that original, or is that something from when this place was used by your people? Or
no, we keep some boats tied up down there to traverse it. It's a very fast way to go quite a long way, but
the trolls seem to be swimming.
Well, this is the wrong way then. We should probably go back.
All the way back or a little way back?
We could head back to the gully and try and walk over the top, but it's quite dangerous in places. You might fall through.
Ashra, can you see any boats at all?
Could I see boats? I don't unless I missed it in your description.
If you look back through the eye, it's not obvious.
Look.
It's not obvious, so you wouldn't have noticed it unless you're looking carefully.
Fine.
There's a couple of smashed bits of wood by where the tunnel comes out that were bits of boat at one point.
Feasibly boats. It seems they're boats. The remains of the boats remain.
Is it traversable without boats, Kenna? Or
the water's freezing. Usually we would have a couple of boats there. I have built boats from stuff that was left over sometimes, or you has found other ways to travel across it. You can normally get across some of those pieces of architecture, but it sounds like it would be extremely dangerous.
Yeah, unless someone's got a way to distract upwards of 30 trolls and giants.
You're going to think I'm a person obsessed, but it would be theoretically possible for me to polymorph into some kind of giant aquatic creature and perhaps traverse this course.
How about
with you on my backs, I mean.
How about with 25 trolls attacking you?
Well, I was thinking something, obviously, as it's been into sort of ancient lizard kind of tonality. They get pretty large. We could probably get out of there pretty quick, I reckon. How fast are swimming trolls, do you reckon?
George, Ashra, the trolls that you saw swimming, they appeared to be swimming quite comfortably and happily, and you are aware of such things as aquatic trolls.
They seem at home in the water. Very at home.
How far have we travelled so far today?
A couple of hours, not long.
We might have to just retrace and go back. We won, but it was like it wasn't a walk in the park with 3 trolls and a giant. 25 trolls, 3 giants, some wolves. I don't fancy it.
Ashra,
no.
Can you see anything else? Trolls and giants don't strike me as wall sconce situators.
No, that is true. I'll do another circuit with the eye.
George, I will allow this as you are a wizard of some renown. Trolls and giants can't see in the dark. Giants are certainly smart enough creatures to put wall sconces in and things like that. Trolls are not.
Does this mean if we turn the lights out and were very quiet and swam on Milk's back?
Not to put too fine a point on it, but that sounds like a literal nightmare.
100%, but it saves a wasted 4 hours and it gets us a much quicker route through, according to Kenna. I mean, don't get me wrong, it sounds awful, but it could save us a day. That could save goodness knows how many people.
We could kill the lights. How are the lights distributed in the big chamber? Are they just completely inaccessible everywhere? Or are they?
I mean, in the big chamber, to put lights on wall sockets would make no difference here because it's too big. Some of the trolls, some of the bits of Netherese architecture sticking out of the water were lit up, and you saw are lit up. You can still see by glowing torches, basically by glowing wooden torches. There's no the light in that area is extremely dim. This tunnel has been quite well lit, but the light in that whole area is quite dim.
So perhaps Ivy could snuff them out.
Oh, I'll die. Yes, I could do that. Do you definitely not have, you magic people, you don't have a little wind or a little
I can
bit of rain?
Extinguish flames from relatively close, though. Have to be quite close.
Yeah, I could go for a little wall skip over some islands and kill a bunch of lamps, and then we could swim across in the freezing water, in the pitch dark, really, really quietly.
This sounds like the beginnings of a plan, which is a good thing, but luckily you'll have more time to think about this plan because we're going to have to end there for tonight. So more time to make plans, potentially. But yes, this is the situation you find yourselves in and we find ourselves in as the next episode looms. What happens next? Find out next time.
I want to know.
I think we die. I think we die.
Yeah,
I think that is what happened.
Well,
I'm not going to use polymorph if it kills me.
And it will.
Let's see how it goes. Thank you for joining us, everyone, for Chapter 5 of Icewind Dale Corrupted. If you enjoyed tonight, we're playing every Monday night, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. BST for the time being. That's British Summer Time. Obviously, in the US, that can be different time zones, so do check with your time zone calculators. Yes, we will be continuing this Monday evenings for the next 7 weeks, so do stick with us and see where the adventure goes from there. If you enjoyed tonight, we also have other games that we play with Adventurers Wanted, which is me and a bunch of other people, including these 5 people, and they can all be found on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/adventurerswanted, or on our YouTube channel, that's youtube.com/adventurerswanted. Do join us on social media. We are Adventurers Wanted basically everywhere, apart from Twitter, where we're Adventurers250. Thank you again, everybody. Fantastic playing with you all. Big thanks again to our sponsors, D&D Beyond. That's dndbeyond.link/adventurerswanted, and UltraPro, ultrapro.com. And do join us in the Twitch chat. You've probably got a couple of minutes left if you still want to have a chance to win this delightful owl bear. Just join us in the chat, say something nice, please. It doesn't have to be nice for it to be in, but you know what I mean. And we will then draw a winner out of a hat from all the people who are in the Twitch chat. You need a UK address to have something sent to you, though. Lovely. I think that's basically it from all of us. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, audience, for watching, as always, and see you next week. Bye.
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 Bye.